That should wake you up. That should wake you up. Give me something yellow. Oh, and guess what, folks? I'm on TV right now. GVD channel 115. I'm going to be on Facebook, on the Sky FM page and the Keeping It Real page in just a second. Let's start this one all over again. Give me something yellow.
It's about that time. It's about that time. It's about that time. Boy, are you feeling the feeling? I'm feeling the feeling. Take out the rag and ting and show me where you're voting. Give me something yellow. Let me go, 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 let me go. Show me something yellow. Let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go. Talk to them. Election time again and I done make up my mind. That's where I voted. I love my country, but not keeping track and not blind. That's where I voted. We in some serious time, just take a look, see these signs. That's where I voted. Let's keep working, it will be fine. But we have a long way to go. That's why we voting yellow. So tell your friends, get ready to go. And take up the rag and ting and show me where you're voting. Give me something yellow. Let me go, 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 let me go. Show me something yellow. Let me go, 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 let me go. Put your hand in the air, and super way. Put hand in the air, and super way. Where you there? Where you there? Where you there? Where you there? And super way. Put your hand in the air. We have a long way to go. That's why we voting yellow. So tell your friends, get ready to go. And take up the rag and ting and show me where you're voting. Give me something yellow. Let me go, let me go, let me go. Show me something yellow. Let me go, 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 let me go. Are you feeling the feeling? I'm feeling the feeling. Are you feeling the feeling? I'm feeling the feeling. Are you feeling?
Good morning, you on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, good morning.
The
good
man himself, Leclerc. You're coming in on the action. It's hot. It's hotty.
Yes.
Talk to me, my brother.
Do you know that we are a product of circumstances?
Mhm.
Young men of today, it seems that you all don't want to elevate yourself. Educate yourself. Get out from the blocks and educate yourself. You know that the block are the cradle of circumstances? It is time for us to understand, young men. Girls are rising and wise young men seem to be falling apart, going astray. It seems to be the young men seem to be wasting the natural resource. We are gifted by God. Understand that. We are talented. Use our talents to elevate us. Use our talents to get us out of the block. Educate yourself. When you educate yourself, you become an asset, not a liability.
Ah,
There is no room for liability in this world. When you are a liability, you are the first person to kick out. But when you're an asset, they keep you, especially in a job. When you're an asset, they beg for you. They don't throw you out easy because there's a high demand for your service. But when you are a liability, they can always replace you. So, young men of today, educate yourself. Have a great day.
well, thank you very much. Have a great day yourself too. The man, Mr. Leclerc.
Droit santé pour tous Saint-Lucien, en premier 100 jours, nous avons implémenté Assurance Santé Nationale pour toutes. UWP, 5%. On continue. VAT pour 10%. So, ça n'est plus ching en poche. UWP, 5%. On continue.
Okay, folks, okay. All of that is done now. I had to update the links on the Facebook pages. So, those of you who want to watch it out of the house or watch it on your computer, on your tablet, or you want to send a link to a friend, it's facebook.com/SkyFMSLU or facebook.com/KeepingItRealSLU or facebook.com/GVDFans. Yeah. Or you can watch it on Flow TV, Flow Cable, channel 115, or, that's right, or you can listen live online. Live stream, live.skyfm.lc, live.skyfm.lc, or you could go to Radio Garden, you know, if you have the app, or you can go to the website radio.garden. That's the website, madiupscom.com. Madiu radio.garden. Si wale like ay poteo plus la uniboale. And you can just simply search for Sky FM 93.1. And you're gonna get it. That's right, you can't escape. No excuse in the shower. Metela, you know there are waterproof radios, right, for your shower. Hang it up on your little rack or wherever you want to. Waterproof. So konga ben kod loaka ben do shh. Sky FM is there. I'm there with you. I'm there with you. Good morning, Cap Estate. How are you? Good morning, everyone. So as I was saying earlier, folks, so all the crabs and everything else, the snakes, we know the king snake came out first. All the snakes, the crabs, the has-beens, the wannabes are coming out now. Oh yes. Oh yes. And I'm just keeping it real with you early in the morning. Keeping it real. All those who were set aside, those who were rejected, those who didn't continue to have the status that they wanted. I use that word very loosely, but very controlled. Those who didn't quite get to the level of prominence that they wanted politically. Those who don't like this one there and don't like this one there. But we've seen them. I know you, my crew out there, the Keeping It Real crew. I know you pay attention to what's going on when you listen to the quality of the calls that come in here. You know people are astute, they pay attention. All of you. They're sensible. You're sensible. And you conduct your analysis on the paralysis based on the facts, on the evidence, because I've encouraged you to do so. And I happened to listen early this morning. It was out, you just can't watch and listen to everything in one day or at the same time. I listened to Mikey Pilgrim and his endorsement for the king snake. And it sounded all nice and flowery, and then he started getting into Sir John and how he called him to his house, when he was on his deathbed. That's what he said, basically. Now, if you will remember, let's go back to the period again, folks, 79 to 82. Mikey Pilgrim was, if you want to say, a placeholder prime minister, temporary prime minister, until things sorted itself out. I think for 4 months or something he was prime minister. And we all know, if you don't know, I'll just give you a synopsis of the paralysis in that situation. It was a power deal. Power. It was an arrangement, an agreement, arrangement. In the SLP again, that Alan Louisi promised, I don't know where that is in our democratic process or anything, but nevertheless, he made a deal. That's what the word I was looking for. The deal. The dealio. He made a deal, Alan Louisi, with George Odlum. You know, back in the day, you know, politics again, I just, you know, those who don't know, let's remind you, well, inform you, because it's interesting to know, you know, the various sides or the various angles to all what was happening back then. And back then, George Odlum was referred to as George Hoodlum. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. The snack who was prime minister, what's his name? He was called Count Snackula. Well, I tell you, St. Lucia is great, you know. They're the greatest. They're the greatest. He was called Count Snackula. It just takes me back, and why I tell you, boy, we are creative in this country. But anyway, moving on. I mean, there was another one. You know, you can look back and laugh at these things. You know, it's creative. It's our politics. You know, Clendon Mason was referred to as Jaws. You know, you all remember that. Those who remember, if you're younger than 30 or 40, you wouldn't really remember. You know, and all the other names. You can look back at these things and laugh. But anyway, Mikey Pilgrim, the wannabe, the lookalike, star on the cap, wanna look like Che Guevara. Yeah. Mikey, he used to dress like that, man, the same hair and everything. Well, see we say Che Guevara kite la see. Was interim prime minister. That's the word, interim. Yeah. That's the word they used at the time. Interim prime minister in the whole debacle. And how that took St. Lucia down a road to hell. Down a road to hell. And the whole SLP and the PLP. Y'all remember PLP, those of you out there? And some of you, a lot of y'all don't even know about it. PLP, Progressive Labour Party, a splinter group that broke off from the SLP. Mitwaka Ekse books are the revolutionaries, and the whole sordid history of St. Lucia involving the SLP and the PLP and all the whole harangue that occurred back then. Yeah, I was there, I remember very well. Remember very well. Ask Oswald Augustine. He'll tell you. But anyway, in his, how shall I characterize it? In his jump on the bandwagon endorsement for King Snake, he was gushing. He was gushing about Stevenson King. Wasi we say la mouve le fait about the King Snake. And he was gushing and he was overflowing. God damn me, touting himself and the credibility that someone to give to the statements. You can endorse whoever you want, that's fine. You have to examine the veracity of that endorsement. And goes back, what, 17 years and before. It wasn't 17, yeah, 14 years and back. Almost as if the King Snake was the chosen one. He descended down. He was the protege of Sir John. I will not invoke the name of the family or whatever right now. I will not invoke the name. How he has integrity and blah, blah, blah and all of that. All of us have that. But how you become the leader, and I don't care if John Compton may have wanted him over his own seed to be Prime Minister of St. Lucia. I don't care whether he gave him the most glowing report card you can find. What I know, Mr. Mikey Pilgrim, is that right now, looking at the time and date on my computer, and on my cell phone there, and the other one there, and the other computer there, and the other phone over there, is that today's date is the 22nd of July 2021. And whatever you say, whether right or wrong, whether concocted, contrived, or the truth, was in 2007. 2007. 14 years ago, almost to the day. 14 years, exactly 14 years ago. And I don't know about you, I don't want any computer from 14 years ago. I don't want any opinion from 14 years ago for that time. It has to be reevaluated. That's the important factor. I don't care what Sir John the late saw back then. I don't care what his intentions were back then. Those intentions were for back then, if those were his intentions. But what I do know, Mikey Pilgrim, Mr. Mikey Pilgrim, because I'll give you the respect. You know, Mr. don't make you respected anyway. So, people call you Mr., people call you Prime Minister, and connive and dagger you in the back anyway. Don't we know that recently? They will sit in the House of Parliament with you, like a king snake. They will sit next to you tete-a-tete. They will appear on TV with you tete-a-tete. For the whole world to see, they'll sit in meetings as if everything is hunky-dory and give reports and talk about the future and talk about elections coming. Yet, when they make the final move, when they make the king snake move, I endured for 5 years. Oh my gosh. I endured for 5 years. I couldn't take it anymore. Boo hoo hoo. Grow some balls us. But what I do know, Mr. Mikey Pilgrim, and to all the other crabs that are crawling out, I know it's hurricane season and the water may be going down in the holes, but the manner of crabs you see crawling out, all measure of opportunists, we know who they are. Not around, not saying anything, but only when there's some dangling opportunity for them. But what I do know, Mr. Mikey Pilgrim, and folks, what I do know is that St. Lucia is a democracy. It certainly is. And that the United Workers' Party, the party at the forefront of the discussion at this moment, is a democratic organization. Unlike the other side, they go ask Alphonsus Saint-Rose about that whole thing there. I ain't want to get into that. But go ask him. Go ask some others. Ask Mikey Pilgrim himself about the process in Grosley. Hey, don't go there. I'm just keeping it real. Okay? The same, Mr. Mikey Pilgrim. Ask him about the democratic process. But that's another sideline there for you folks. That's another sideline. 2007 is what he's talking about. as if there's some type of accolade from 14 years ago that should transfer over to 2021 without question, ignoring all others, without any reason for wanting clarification or for verifying the veracity now. For evaluating the accuracy or the validity now in 2021. Because one of the things that Mikey Pilgrim did not mention in his, what shall I call it, endorsement, let's just keep it simple. Let's apply the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. What he did not tell you, because he was speaking to you, he was speaking to all of us, what he did not say is that the United Workers' Party exists within a democracy. St. Lucia is a democracy. And that the party itself has its own rules and regulations, its constitution, which reflect the same spirit of democracy. And that regardless of what Sir John may have intended back then, and according to Mikey Pilgrim, wanted Stephenson King to be his successor, to be the prime minister, whatever. Stephenson King did become the prime minister, whether rightfully or wrongfully, whether because Sir John said so or not, the fact is he did. That's our history. We can't run away from that. But Stephenson King himself existed along with Sir John, with George Mallet, with Henry Giraudy, and everybody else at that time within the confines of the United Workers' Party, within the confines of the borders of St. Lucia, an independent state since 1979. And Stephenson King was Prime Minister from the passing of Sir John in 2007 until the demise, that's right, I'll use the word, the demise of the UWP at the elections in 2011. And he was squarely blamed for the demise of the party at those elections in 2011 because of his failures. And some of the most glaring ones, or the most glaring one, was his failure to deal adequately with Richard Frederick and his visa fiasco. Is that the truth or not? I want you to tell me. I'm recounting St. Lucia history right there. And it is written, and so it was written. Say it and so. The UWP was decimated at the polls in 2011. That's a fact. Under the leadership of Stephenson King. He was the Prime Minister. And the agonizing looking at and expecting and awaiting Stephenson King to make movements, to take actions in the whole situation that existed back then, facing the onslaught of the propagandists and the Kool-Aid squad out there. And people were looking and waiting. It was like waiting, watching paint dry. Just wasn't happening. You couldn't see it happening. Nada. Oh my God, say something, do something. And the reticence, the reluctance to take action, it did not escape anyone. And people were befuddled. They asked questions. What was something being held over his head? I ain't lying, I'm speaking the truth. Because you remember it. And things continued en bas glow for the United Workers' Party until 2013, when there was a convention, which parties have. And the convention engaged itself in a democratic process. There was an election. And that election is held with the voters from the executive, from the constituencies, all 17 of them, from around the island. The constituency branches met at the convention and they held the elections as is required under the constitution, the rules and regulations of the party. Just as other political parties too. Alan Chastain's name was in the mix. Stephenson King's name was in the mix, among others, for other positions. And the collective desire in the legal and accepted process, the democratic process, was that Stephenson King would not be elected as the leader of the United Workers' Party. The majority of those who voted felt that he was ill-suited or not the best suited to handle that position at that time, taking into consideration, obviously, the campaigning, the history, and all what had happened before, and all that he had been involved in before. Say it ain't so. That's how a democratic process works. You don't just jump in there and look at names and say, mini, mini, miny, mo, blah, 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 blah. Ping! And choose one. You base your decision, you base your vote on the information that you have considered. Just like the people of St. Lucia will do so on Monday, the 6th, the 26th of July. 4 days to go from now. But I continue to see people who have the mentality of the Kool-Aid squad, and we know how they characterize our elections here in St. Lucia. Win we win, lose we win. As if you have been gifted the country of St. Lucia. As if Stephenson King, the King Snake, was gifted the leadership of the United Workers' Party or the prime ministership of St. Lucia. Balderdash, I say. He was not. Neither was Alan Chastaing, neither was John Compton, neither was Kenny Anthony, neither is anyone. The people are the ones with whom that power rests. Get over it. And if you don't like it, lump it. That is the stark reality of the situation. And the King Snake can jump high and jump low, and Mikey Pilgrim can jump high and jump low. Big deal about what Sir John wanted in 2007 on his deathbed. That doesn't carry through in perpetuity. The leadership of the United Workers' Party, or any party, yes, that's right, neither the SLP is in a will for anyone. It's not the property of anyone at all. It is a collective undertaking of the people involved. Because the leader of any party, whether it's Philip J. Pierre, whether it's Alan Chastanet, or anybody else, don't win the elections on their own. People power. That's why you go to the people at the polls for them to elect you. Let's get it right. And all the endorsements in the world referring to the past You know what I say? You see the convenience of it all? That's the past, man. That's the past, man. Forget about the past. All of a sudden now for them, the past is significant. You see the hypocrisy? The past is significant. The people of the United Workers' Party, by a majority, decided that Stephenson King was not suited to be the Prime Minister or to be the leader of the United Workers' Party. So you can come with all your glowing accolades, trying to make it sound as if that is his right. It ain't no right. And the glowing accolades that you showered on there last night, there are lots of people who will strongly disagree with you, Mikey Pilgrim. Because underneath that nice blanket, that comforter that you ordered off Amazon to lay on that bed, underneath that, there's a lot of carbon. Underneath that, a lot of pea stains. The reality of it is that Alan Chastanet is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. And some people want to make it, including you, what you are alluding to, what I'm getting out of it, is almost as if Stephenson King should have been the Prime Minister now. Well, having been in cabinet yourself, in Parliament, you know very well how that system works. And still, he was not selected to be the Prime Minister by the majority on the winning side in Parliament. You know how that works. And talking about his resolve, having been a Prime Minister, and all of that, you say, the last 5 years belie that ability you want to give. It belies it. Because having been Prime Minister, having been leader, having all of that experience and political savvy, as you put it, a situation that involved him within a party structure, someone who had to deal with national security, somebody who had to deal with the affairs of state, be deliberate and make judgments, for some reason did not have the temerity, did not have the gonads, did not have the ability, did not have the linguistic facility, did not have the ability to articulate his situation in 5 years. However, was able to sit and calculate a time to drop the bomb. The bomb, the mother of all defections. But he couldn't sit and think. Even when asked about what the situation was, are there any truth to the rumors? Are you having any problems? No. No. When you had an opportunity in the House of Parliament in 2019, February 2019, or was it January the 24th, 2019? When the Kool-Aid squad under Philippe Japed rolled out the shameless motion of no confidence against the Prime Minister, Prime Minister Alan Chastanet. If there was any other opportunity for him to have expressed that, it would have been then. But when Philippe Japed called for the division, giving everyone full visibility as to how they would vote. Stephenson King, how do you vote? No. He voted against it. He was tete-a-tete. He was the right-hand man to the Prime Minister in the House of Parliament for 5 years. This is the most indecisive, conflicted person that you could ever find. How could he make decisions in government if he's so conflicted? I know there are lots of stories about that inability. But anyway, I'm going to open up the lines. I want you to call, folks. The fact is that Alan Chastanet was voted in as the leader of the United Workers' Party. He was. And talking about where St. Lucia was before and all of that, the record is very clear on the accomplishment of Alan Chastanet as Prime Minister of St. Lucia during this first term of his as Prime Minister. Undoubtedly. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Norbert. How are you doing?
Morning, sir. I'm doing good.
I would like all the members of the St. Lucia Labour Party to do themselves a favor. And that is on the 26th of July, to go and vote for the United Workers' Party. If you want a future for yourself and for your children and your grandchildren, make the right choice and vote the United Workers' Party. You have no other choice. Have a good day, Norbert.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. And the statement that Mikey Pilgrim made, I listened to it clearly. And you know what? I want you to listen to it. It's all gushy and everything. But when you get past, when you blow away, sweep away all the fluff, and listen to the substantive points about the performance of this government under Alan Chastanet, what he's alluding to is that it's basically a disaster, in very nice, sexy kind of way. He's trying to just slip that in there after all the theatrics of word. I want you to listen to it and evaluate. Because ultimately, it is an endorsement for Stephenson King. That's what it is. But Stephenson King is not going to be the Prime Minister. Oh, well. Well. So what is it an endorsement of? Because even with all the delay tactics and the obstructionism over the past 5 years, which have been leveled at Stephenson King, that's right. A lot of accusations have been made about that. Even about his disappearing acts during this administration and before. Even my own experience, let's not get into that. Okay? And the experience of thousands, many others. You're left to wonder what's going on with that. Failure to appear, always late, leaves early. It's on the record. I ain't making it up. Are these the qualities of a leader that you want in these times? I'm just asking the logical questions. We have another call. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Norbert.
Morning, sir.
I realize that one of the other persons who joined the anti-Chastanet bandwagon was Dr. Preville.
Yep.
Norbert, can you give me a few minutes? Let me describe to you my encounter with Dr. Preville.
Well, just keep it real and make it, I don't want...
I will confine it to leadership.
Okay.
Dr. Preville invited some of us to a meeting in Vieux-Fort when he was making the bid for the leadership of the party.
And when was that?
That was, I can't quite remember the year, but the year that he made the bid to be leader of the party. When I got to the place in Vieux-Fort, I had to wait an hour and a half before the meeting started. Dr. Preville came in, and every time he spoke, he started with the statement, "When I become Prime Minister." And it was like a lecture. People got frustrated. Members, people who attended that meeting, had the opportunity to ask 2 questions of Dr. Preville. And on both occasions, he was upset. Somebody whispered to me that Dr. Preville, in a previous meeting, was asked a question, and his reply was, "You know what UWP means? You win with Preville." Later on that night, I had the opportunity to ask Dr. Preville a question regarding what he intends to do. And what Dr. Preville said he would be doing were things that were being done already. And I tried, Norbert, to identify one thing in Dr. Preville which looked like a leadership quality, and there was none. But he is still angry, just as King is angry that he was not selected as the leader of the party. There are more things, but I do not want to continue on this line this morning. So these guys are more interested in themselves and the perks of leadership than in considering their ability to lead the country. These guys are not serious. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. 456-0931. 456-0931. And you're listening to the morning edition of Keeping It Real. You know, what so many people seem to forget in all of this is that Stephenson King had every opportunity to lobby, to prove himself by his actions, by his works, by his deeds, by his performance, to be selected or elected as leader of the party. He had the opportunity that most people, 99.999999999% of people, will never have in St. Lucia, and that is to be Prime Minister. And whether rightfully or wrongfully, whether accurately or inaccurately, whether by selection, whether by bequeathment, if I make up that word, or whether by default, the fact is that Stephenson King, between 2007, after the passing of Sir John, and up to elections of 2011, was the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. He had the enviable opportunity to prove himself as a leader, not outside, not as a president of the youth arm, not as any other position, but the highest ranking position in the land. He had the opportunity to prove his worth He had the opportunity to prove his ability to govern, to be prime minister, to run the affairs of state. And he had the opportunity to silence any detractors or opposition to him, especially when he was referred to by the Kool-Aid Squad as being simply a messenger, as being uneducated, as being dumb, as the only certificate being, his only certificate being his birth certificate and his marriage certificate. That was the extent to which he was vilified, that he was insulted. And he had the opportunity then to stick it to them. He had the opportunity then. He had the opportunity to win as leader of the United Workers' Party, hands down, simply by virtue of his performance. But a lot of that opportunity was frittered away because of a lead brick that many people considered to be around his neck in the person of Richard Frederick. Say it ain't so. And his handling of so many other matters at that time are on the record, were complained about incessantly, yet still dragged his feet. We have a call. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning. Botai.
That is.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Let me tell you.
Tell me.
Among all the truths you have just spoken there, that is, you were speaking number 100% truth. Mr. King, when he was prime minister, he never acted like a responsible individual.
Why you say that?
Just like you said, he is always late. He's never present, never on time.
Missing in action. Yep.
Always missing in action. You know, during the time of his prime ministership, I have been, every time he had to address the nation, we had to be listening and listening and waiting and waiting and waiting. He's always late. How can you be the leader, the prime minister of a country, and not being early? Not taking the initiative or the responsibility to act like a leader. And the second thing about him is that Mr. King don't like to listen to nobody. Clem Bob complained about some decision he made that caused his demise at the polls. And ever since he assumed the leadership of being prime minister, he thinks that he can articulate the policies of leadership and always wanted to be in the leadership. From that time, I began to just dislike the guy. If you were given a chance as prime minister, you got to be on time. You got to have the qualities of a leader.
You got to be prime ministerial.
Yes, and you have to listen to people. Not thinking that just because you're prime minister to always to be late, and thinking that because you are late, people just have to accept you, and then comes the time for you to prove your leadership, to get your party together to run election. They spoke to you about choosing some individual that will take your party down. You never listen to nobody. It's like they say you operate in silence, like a, you know.
You know what they say? Let me tell you what it is. You know. Let me say how we refer to it in St. Lucia. In English, it's referred to as stubborn.
Yes.
In our Creole here,
it is very stubborn.
In our Creole, we say tetli wed.
And I could not believe at the last election how he would lost the election to Alan Chasney.
As leader of the party. As leader of the party.
And you're the incumbent. And since that time you have been upset. You upset. That's a fact. I don't care what his wife come and talk about and whatever.
Well, you know what, caller? You know what, caller? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right there. I want to, and I would like everybody to leave her out of it. I'll tell you something. I'll refer to just one simple song.
No, I'm not really trying to.
I know.
Tweet her into it. I'm talking about all the good qualities she's going to talk about.
No. Hold on. I ain't going to respond to that. Because there's a song, and it's expected. Stand by your man.
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah, that's
you know, but you know, you see, that is out of the political realm.
Right.
And I prefer not to take that up because that's neither here nor there. It is expected.
Right, I understand that.
Right.
But what I'm saying is he has never proven himself to be a man steadfast, to be someone that somebody could respect, to be, you know, just because they say he's cool and quiet. But I think there are arrogance under his skin. And that, you know, just wanting to be leader, and then they rejected him. He has been mad from that time. But I like the guy, but I didn't support him not being responsible.
Caller, you hit a very, very important point right there. And everyone will say, because he got the name. And you know, I'm keeping it real.
Yes.
Big Bear, like the huggable, affectionate, everybody loved.
Right.
But it is not only about being a nice guy.
Yes.
And we've heard that before.
That's it.
It's not only about being a nice guy. You must be able to take the mantle and responsibility of a prime minister.
Once he was about to address the nation, and he was very late, and somebody asked him, but why you are late? And the answer he came out with, well, he had to stop down the road to talk to somebody. If you are the leader of a nation and you want to set the precedence and want to be the reliable, you're talking about you going down the road to do something such important as minister or handle the affairs of the country, speak to the nation, and then you stop in like just somebody that running down the street and seeing a body down the street. Is that somebody that you tell me I have to rely on to be a leader? You know what I'm saying to you? And everybody waiting over the media, 1-2 hours late, always late, never there. And, you know, I can't see somebody like that being a nice guy, but then being responsible and want to return to be the leader of a chair. Honestly, that is not somebody I see that can handle responsibility and that could be, you can depend on. I have a real serious problem with that. To me, if you're going to be a leader, you have to be on time to set the example. You got to be dependable. You got to be reliable. And you got to be responsible. These are the things in which I never like King about. Apart from him, they say being a nice guy. He's just being a nice guy in the face, but under the skin is a different thing. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. And I want everybody to know, and you know, in keeping it real, you have to keep it real. And when you're honest with people, they may not like it at the time, but later on in hindsight, they and others will see the truth in what you say. Some of them, if they're thin-skinned, will never forgive you. How dare you? How dare you tell me? How dare you say this? And I've been friends with Stephenson King for a very long time. And as we say in St. Lucia, if he vexed with me for saying that, so be it. I've always been honest about the situations that I bring to you. I've known Steve for, what, 40 years, since about 1981. From the days of him working at Flosac and Girodi, where he got his start. From us being in the youth arm of the United Workers' Party in 1982. He was elected as president. I was elected as the PRO of the party. That's history. Can't run away from that. Doesn't matter what I do now or into the future. That's what it was. Good morning. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yes, good morning. I just heard the gentleman a while ago, and I want to put my 2 cents to that. That gentleman is very right. The gentleman knows what he's talking about. I have had the experience of this man being very late, always late. Let me tell you, to the extent that there was one function, the gentleman had the Governor General waiting outside. When the people could not take it again after about an hour, they had the Governor General waiting in her car. They had to bring the Governor General in and start the ceremony. When this man entered about 20 minutes after, he looked through a window and he saw the ceremony was already started.
Without
He
him.
went back to his car and he left. He never attended the ceremony. And let me tell you, his people were upset. They were furious. And this is where I learned that this was not the first time and not the only time, because they were furious and they were complaining, not loudly, but 2, 3 of them were in a group and they were complaining, they were vexed, they were making calls left, right, and center, and saying that this is not the first time, he's always doing that. Yes. So he is not a responsible leader. Okay? He can take that in his pipe and smoke it. Okay? And this is why one of the reasons Alan Shasney beat him at the elections for leadership of the party. These are one of the reasons.
Yeah.
And the other reason is because he did not have the balls to do what he was supposed to do to win the election for the United Workers' Party of 2011.
That's right, caller.
And why can how and why a man came, did what he has to do, he did what he was supposed to do, and he won the election of 2016. Can't you see that? What is so hard in that to see? You have no balls and you are irresponsible. The other question I want to ask him is, you had the opportunity just after Sir John died to run this country as leadership.
Yes.
What have you done? What
Yes.
can we put to your name?
Yes.
What ideas, what vision did you have? We saw nothing. Right now, we cannot put our finger on anything
Caller,
Mr. Stevenson King did.
the validation of all what Mikey Pilgrim is pouring on in his supposed endorsement of Stevenson King, the embodiment of that should have resulted or should have shown itself in the results of the elections of 2011. If Stevenson King had all of that, if he had done or validated the confidence that was supposedly placed in him, see, he should have won the 2011 elections. However, history shows that he did not, and they lost.
Yes. But also, all of these people are failed leaders. Even Mikey Pilgrim was a weak, he got a slim chance, a very slim chance. And
Interim government. That's what it was called, interim government.
And we saw him as a weak man.
Yeah.
It is a good thing. It was just an interim for a short time.
What was it, like 4 months or something like that? Whatever the period of time?
It was to put elections together,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But he too was a weak guy.
Hold on, caller. An interim government, out of the turmoil that was created, that was hatched under the SLP in St. Lucia, that an interim, they had to have meetings with the church, with unions and other civil organizations. And I remember the night that was, because I went there. I was there. There ain't nobody telling me, at the official residence of the Prime Minister there at VG. People, St. Lucia was ready to go to war, civil war in St. Lucia. The place was ready to collapse.
Yes.
And they created out of a number of different individuals an interim government to save St. Lucia, to put St. Lucia in state of readiness for election, because the country was ready to go to war. The people who don't remember today. Because I don't forget.
It is important that people look at the caliber of the people who are coming out now to supporting. All people just like him, failed people, all of them. all of them are failed people in one way or the other from one aspect of, weak leaders. When we talk about the Walrus, I mean.
Caller, let's keep current. That 15 minutes of fame a week and a half ago has gone.
Anyway, that was my take. Stephen King is not a good leader. He's a very weak leader. That's what I want to put across, and I know that personally.
Thank you very much, caller.
People who were close to him were very, 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 very upset, and they showed us that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you. Thanks for keeping it real. Folks, Mikey Pilgrim was Prime Minister. That's a fact. His picture is on the wall. It goes down in history. But what was happening? The same SLP had St. Lucia on the verge of civil war. Don't even go there with that, Don't go there with that. Any of you try and challenge that. St. Lucia was on the verge of civil war. Our House of Parliament, in meetings, guns were pulled. Huh? I will draw from the hip and shoot you and make whatever come out of your mouth and whatever. Remember that? Ask Julian Hunt about those things. The time of, I will break glass in your you-know-what. About the Mace incident in the house and everything else. One of the most unruly times, chaotic times in the history of St. Lucia. Don't go there today, and these people now want to come and opine and play the coming out and all of this kind of thing. When they say, good morning, you're on the air, let's keep it real.
Yeah, morning, sir.
Morning.
Remember the word that Mr. Ile had said about this election would be the nastiest election?
Yep. I wonder.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Now, today, everybody getting to see the meaning of that. You know what is the meaning of it?
Tell me.
Who would have thought that today Mr. Frederick would be in that situation with the Labour Party? Secondly, who would have thought that Mr. Stevenson King would be in that situation at the last hour? So probably this is what he knew what was going around, and that is why he said that statement. Because that, I call that nasty. That what that is going on right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. You know, Mikey Pilgrim coming up at this time makes you have to consider the options right now and how they resemble so much and how they cause you to pause and wonder with this strategic space that Philip Japed is talking about, and the characters involved, and the egos involved, and the every intention to win these elections by all types of maneuverings. And every day you keep seeing 1979 to 82 popping up, and how the similarities and how the threat of making those deals, of the convenience of getting in bed for political reasons, has lured, has raised, has reared its ugly head. And that head looks so much like 79, 82 that there are lots of people out there who are scared. 79 to 82 when St. Lucia was on the brink of war internally. Don't tell me it ain't so. I ain't asking anybody about that. And those of you who can remember, tell me if you do remember. 456-0931. 456-0931. Okay. I have a message now. Today. We have a call. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Mr. Bodai.
Yes, sir. Please turn down. Please turn down your radio.
Guys, but what about James?
Turn down your radio, please, caller. Please.
What about Bruce L. Tucker?
Caller, please turn down your radio.
Yeah, what about Bruce
Caller,
L. Tucker?
caller, can you hear me?
Yes,
Please turn down your radio.
it's already down.
Okay, good, thank you.
What about Bruce L. Tucker?
Well, he's there too.
Such an embarrassment with Bruce L. Tucker.
Caller, you know, there are certain things that you respond to and others that have no value.
I never thought
Yeah.
I would really hear this guy's voice in today's new political arena at all. That's the man who bow out and say he was suffering with cancer. And he was
Well,
gonna
caller, hold on a second. I don't even really want to get into that. That's, irrelevant to the discussion. You can be ill, you can be well, whatever, and talk about whatever you want. The insignificance of that individual who was fired twice by Sir John, who was, not surprisingly, brought back by Stevenson
twice,
King.
and now you come in to support somebody.
Yeah.
You should never have been on the scene talking about nobody at all. You should be quiet.
But you see, caller, these are the people that the so-called journalists here will give the time of day.
Yes.
When pertinent matters that need to be seriously analyzed and discussed
That's a
are
real
ignored.
bully. And then you coming up. When I listen to all these people and stuff like that coming on the scene, I'm saying, but we're all these all pack away heads. It's like how one saw in a box put away, not being used, and it smells, and it really dry rot and stuff like that. And I'm listening to these guys on all over them. I'm saying in my mind, 79, hoodlums and the faction and all that kind of stuff, and all these guys, Bruce L. Tucker, with a name put in jail for using an American who is dead, using his American passport. An born American, you live in St. Lucia, going abroad.
Well, caller, I don't think we need to rehash that because that doesn't have too much bearing on.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is all these guys should have never been on the scene. Should be. They need to, this. Nothing negative like this should have been coming out in the forefront. In today's arena, we are in a new dimension, a new arena, where new people are coming, the new age group. As the year is changing, and everything, just like climate change, all the climate we have now has never happened now like before, because we're in a new era, and that is what people have to see. So if we're going to be innovative, we're going to be prosperous, we're going to be, moving to a time of progressiveness, we need new mindsets, new technology, new this and new that, new young folks that would come on to make a positive. Not the old head and the old thing that is going to, the old tractor is tired. You know what I'm saying? We need new equipments to equip the young folks of the new generation of progressive action, of what you call intellectual education and certain things, the aspects of life to keep up with the new changes, the new demographics, and the new era that we are facing in these modern times. Not the old heads that is of no use, that can do nothing, but when you hear them, you get scared because you realize the devil was dead, but now you see the devil just come up. So how can we move forward knowing how we empower to show the youth, the new generation, education, technology, technical schools of, trades, in all aspects, agriculture, bringing education to the maximum, good health, prosperity living. That's what we really need in this place, not all these things. When you have these, you need somebody that can, a child that is sitting on the sidewalk, the brothers who are in crimes, who have lost the sense of direction. when they hear these old voices, they go back in the cocoon and don't want to come up with nothing good. But when you find they are allowed to face the music and the time that we're living in, they will start asking questions and wants to be something of tomorrow. Then they realize that all the young girls, the young women are progressing more than the young men. And then we are missing men in action in leadership who need to take on the mantle. And how is it that the women are moving forward? Then we need leaders, young people, young men that will come together and put their hat in the ring and say, you know, look, I want to add something. You know, when I look in our country, we send our young men are sidetracked. We are no going nowhere, and we need to be something. Get up from the sidewalk and show the women that we are alive. We are not there to take down the country in crime and murder and drugs, but we want to become something. But at the same time, with that, they need some leaders that will stand up for them when they ask questions and they need help. If they are on the sidewalk, all these old stalwarts that come in now, why can't they just had a good message on radio all year long and all around to just start talking to the youth on the blocks in every community around St. Lucia, giving them a sense of purpose and direction, to tell them there can be a better tomorrow if you come together, if you have a problem, to boost educational things, agriculture,
you have 30 seconds,
things that can
30
keep
seconds.
them. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
That is what we need. Positiveness that can create a better tomorrow. Have a good day, man.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Folks, you have a question to ask of Mikey Pilgrim. Where were you? Where were you to shower all these accolades on Stephenson King back then when you said Sir John called you to his deathbed? You went there with Ira Dovey and someone else, and he asked you all to leave, and you were left in the room with Sir John, and he told you X, Y, and Z. That according to you, that Stephenson King was the one. Where were you back then to come out with that? Where were you? Surprising that you did not, and that self-admittedly, in your endorsement yesterday, you're saying that you've only come out now? Where were you when the SLP and its surrogates, the same party to which you were part and parcel in whatever way you were hurling the insults at Steve, that he is inept, that he is simply a messenger, that he's a Dumbo, that the only certification he has is a birth certificate? Where was all your memory of these accolades and qualification that Stephenson King supposedly has all of a sudden now? Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real. Okay, you got to try that again. Where were you, Mikey Pilgrim, back then? What was your estimation of Stephenson King back then? Where was your defense of a man who was supposed to be so uprighted for St. Lucia, so upright, so qualified, so dignified, so honorable? It's all your adjectives. Where were you? And admittedly, you said nothing. Shame on you. But the proof is in the pudding, and with all those accolades that you want to shower now, and if all that you allude to that was said to you then, the proof is in the pudding, the proof is in the eating, and the eating was the 2007 to 2011 tenure of Stephenson King as Prime Minister, regardless of what manner or way, shape or form that he acquired that role. He had to prove himself nonetheless. And even if you're elected into office, you still have to prove yourself, prove your worth, prove the confidence that the people had in you was worth it. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hi, morning, Sanobi. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good. I'm blowing.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I just called to tell you, they could jump high, they could jump low. Okay? What they don't want to see, that's what they will see. They could bring out all crabs from all holes. People that wreck already and reject. People that mash up St. Lucia in the 1980s. Okay? Reject. All people that you wasn't hearing about, all of them coming out now trying to defend. Okay? Defend people. But let me tell you that will not save them. They could see the writing is on the wall. They could do what they want. They have to bring up everybody because UWP is a force to reckon with.
That is right, caller.
A force to reckon
That's
with.
the
I
word.
could tell you that. And they could see the mighty. They could see that strength. I think the more they talk, the more they give us more strength.
Yes.
Okay? From the time they
good
saw
man.
that motorcade, the Sunday, that have them deck there.
It malmenede seven.
Yeah, it malmented them. And every day they talk, they open their mouth and they're blowing the compressor. That's giving us more force. They could see the force. Okay, they could bring who they bring. They could raise people from the dead. They still won't win. We'll give them a whipping. We'll wreck them. Okay?
Thank you very much, caller.
Just have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Where was Mikey Pilgrim back then when all the insults from the Kool-Aid squad was hurled at Stevenson King? When the UWP supporters cringed? Huh? Where was he to say, no, that's not warranted? Where was he to go out on a limb? Where was he to make a video endorsement of Stevenson King at the time? Where was he? All of a sudden now the convenience of the moment. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning. Let's just keep it real. One observation. It's like, well, John Compton was one of the greatest men in the United Workers' Party. John Compton did resign as a true person, as a true party, as a true leader. He resigned and he gave Von John Compton never resigned and go anywhere but stay in the United Workers' Party. Von resigned and he went to Labour as a true person. Compton can be. Again, he left it to Stevenson King and he again turned to Labour. So you see, when people telling you about the true legions of United Workers' Party, Stevenson King, he was never a true person. They were never a true person. You understand? So if you have to follow up, let's follow up like John Compton. Leave and never gone anywhere. Kenny Anthony resigned from the leader of the Labour Party. Have he gone anywhere? He has not gone anywhere. So persons who wants to say Stevenson King is a great leader, or he was this, he was that, they were never true. Let's take the role of John Compton, and that is how we will know who is a true leader and who is a true party supporter and not an individual supporter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. You know, folks, what alarms so many people now are the instructions, the lessons from the past. That's right, the past, man. That's the past. And remembering what got us to that situation of almost civil war in St. Lucia. You can say what you want about it, that's how I'm characterizing it. Of civil war in St. Lucia. 1979 to 82. Why do you think you keep hearing about that time period? Because everything was flat down patate. La presque en cette lycée. You heard about all the arms that were coming into St. Lucia. Let's not go there. Let's not go there this morning. Don't start that. Ask Mikey Pilgrim about that. The Che Guevara look-alike. Ask him about that. Ask him about the St. Lucians who were intercepted at VG Airport going to train in Libya. Ask him about that. Be trained in terrorism. Ask him about that. Ask him about the imported citizens into St. Lucia who were declared persona non grata and deported from St. Lucia. Ask him about that. I ain't even going to mention the name. Huh? They have the same name with a country that we were colony to. Ask them. Ask them. Ask them about the cardboard soldiers and walking around in green. Ask him about that. Ask him what part he played in the country that he loves so much. Misguidedly. Ask him. Ask him about the inner workings of what was going on then. Ask him. And that is why people are alarmed. because they saw what happened in the past. They saw the pattern of behavior in the past. And they see now the banding together, the strategizing of individuals coming together and knowing the egos. Stevenson King, Richard Frederick, Kenny Anthony, Philip J. Pierre, Ernest Hilaire, Alva Baptiste. Can you imagine what's going on with, the talk about, a coalition. Coalition? Me say, coalition large. Good morning, you're on the way from WhatsApp.
Good morning, Norbert. How you doing?
All the way from Atlanta, Georgia. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, the people of St. Lucia. Norbert, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to end. I don't know, Here's what I'm going to start off with, right? Mm-hmm. King is a remnant of the rejects, the era of rejects he came from. And it was reflected in his tenure as the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. The disgrace, I was born in the late 80s, so I wasn't privy, to be in person when what happened in the 1979, 1980s, early 1980s happened. But I read about it in Rick Wynn's book a couple years back, right? That's why I think it's high time that we start incorporating, some of those books into the history curriculum in the education system. Because our people need to know. We need to know what used to go on then. So when they come with that, all their rhetoric, when the cockroaches come out of the crevices, when all these people who have not been there for the past umpteen years, some of the younger generation has seen them for the first time. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all come out from nowhere, and y'all have all X, Y, and Z to say. I mean, my God. Some of y'all forget that y'all ain't no good news. Your wives cannot even stand up and boast about y'all in the marketplace. Right? St. Lucia cannot put y'all on no resume for no international business. You understand what I'm telling you? And on top of that, are you guys really want to call yourselves role models for the young men of St. Lucia? Look how many entrance results came out of the top 10. Only one boy. Only one.
Wow.
Only one. And you guys, you bunch of rejects, no good reputation. And what can we expect from King when these are the guys who endorsing you as a young person? Me, Mr. King. How are you going to convince me that you are of any good repute, given the people, Bruce Wayne Tucker? You Baldus Raymond?
1 second, caller. 1 second, please. 1 second, please. GVD, can you put up the number on screen for calling into the show? 456-0931 and the WhatsApp number 485-0931. Put up that lower thirds with that information, please. Thanks. Go ahead, caller.
As a young person, as I said, I'm not in St. Lucia, but I'm outside here in the U.S. And people in St. Lucia do not think that anything that happens in St. Lucia is isolated to St. Lucia. St. Lucia does not operate within a bubble. Trust and believe there are eyes out here in the USA that have an invested interest in what is going on in that election period right there. They have certain persons who are going to speak on platforms. There are American eyes looking at you. And the people know who I'm talking about. Yesterday they fall in my tail on Facebook saying that I was inhumane, that I'm not a woman, I'm déclassée because of the statement I made. But I'm standing by my statement because I know in the next couple of months, just keep your eyes open. You going and talk on a political platform and there are eyes looking at you because you have a couple of cases that are before the courts. The defense attorneys are looking at you to build their case. And some of us out here who were fighting on your behalf And on behalf of your family, we are ashamed, we are angry right now because you are giving the defense everything they need to deny you the justice you deserve. Time and effort I put into this thing, making calls, sending texts, sending out letters, because I understand the gravity of the situation. It could be me next, it could be my son next, it could be my friend next. You understand what I'm saying, Norbert? It could be me. And here you are giving the defense whatever they need. I am standing by my statement.
30 seconds, caller.
St. Lucia, we are here, we are on a trajectory of progress. This is a visionary government. Understand why I tell you everything, all the benefits we have here in the U.S. that we are enjoying in the U.S. This government, this UWP administration is ready and willing and able to give it to you. They have shown it to you in the past 5 years. Give them another 5, let them finish the work. We are coming out of a pandemic. We don't have no time for chicken and bear politics. Vote UWP. Let's keep working. St. Lucia, let us keep working.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. You know, I want to say, folks, we hear talk about coalition. It was mentioned by Stephenson King. We hear some allusions to that by Philippe Japed. But I want to tell you seriously, when I look at the characters, the persons who the intention is, if they get there, to make that coalition with, I don't see any coalition. I see a collision. I see a collision of egos. I see a collision of agendas. I see a collision of deals. And whenever you have a collision, the outcome is not pretty. I am telling you, folks, there are enough people here in St. Lucia who remember 7982. And everything, the machinations, the moves, the plays that they see, check the play, right now, are all the old moves resulting, which will result in the same catastrophe for St. Lucia, disaster. Good morning, you're on the air, let's keep it real.
Yes, good morning, Norbert.
Morning, sir.
I want to say this. For the length of time I've been hearing you on radio, I don't have a television, but I have tried to find a reason to have doubts about your credibility, your abilities, and I cannot find any. You get better and better and better every day that I'm listening to you.
Thank you very much,
and, you know, it strikes me very highly. Why a journalist, a man like Norbert Williams, can see all these things, can debunk all these lies and illusions that are coming from supposedly other St. Lucians. And, you know, and they themselves cannot see it. These people from the Labour Party, sometimes I ask myself whether they are St. Lucians. They do not like the country. They do not like the youth. They do not like the people. You know, and you know, I am saying to myself, why don't these people just leave St. Lucia? And I'm saying the other expectation on my mind is that on the day of election, on Monday, all these Labour people can do just one good thing. Go out there and vote collectively for a government, for a St. Lucia-based managed political aspiration, the United Workers' Party, and together we are going to work things out for the benefit of us all. So if they cannot do that, just shut up and let things continue the way they are going with the United Workers' Party. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Strange how Mikey Pilgrim did not endorse Stephenson King in 2011. I don't know. Didn't he think that he deserved that endorsement then? You know, these are the questions, you know, the logical questions that need to be asked. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Norbert.
Good morning.
Norbert, how would you feel to be a member of a political party, which is the oldest political party in the country, not being able to field a full slate of 17 candidates and even before elections are held, are talking about possible coalition.
Can you believe that?
How would you feel as a member of that party?
Caller, you know what? You're the first person I'm going to give the bell this morning. Caller, that is a profound observation that you have made. There is no problem. You're expecting to win the elections, but you're talking about, even before anything comes up, even before there are any numbers, that you want to form a coalition?
Exactly. No,
this is rather peculiar.
Have they considered the psychological effect on their members?
You know what the strategy is there, caller? That they don't want to deliberately go out and deliberately reject their own candidates, like in Castries Central, but they will leave it vacant to form a coalition with somebody who they vilified, who they've called all sorts of names, who blames them for his own demise, but who are they going to form the coalition with?
These persons, as Rick would say, who have all those pimples.
Crazy.
You know, you choose them above bona fide members of your party.
That is right.
You know, somebody is going insane over
that. You're absolutely right, caller. This is the most peculiar, you know, I don't even want to use the word on radio. It starts with S. I mean, this is amazing.
I mean, when the political history of this country will be written,
desperation,
that will be part of it. And our children and grandchildren will read that. Under the leadership of PJP.
Philip Japed. My gosh.
No, but good morning.
Thank you very much, caller. Folks, that's one of the most astute comments I've heard about this entire situation there. There's no war in the country. There's no impasse. In fact, there's elections coming up. There's no impasse. Well, nobody has the accurate numbers. There's no collapse in government or anything. Elections are coming for the people to elect. And you say this is the most bizarre thing that I have ever heard. And it alludes to nothing other than a desperation for power. That you could say that you live in strategic space? Or is it that you believe that the members you have that could run those seats are inept and incapable, and therefore you have to leave it open for others to run, but those others, you still don't want to bring them into your party for whatever reasons? We can figure out the reasons. But surreptitiously recruit them. I mean, seriously, people? This is what's left for the intelligence of the people of St. Lucia? Good morning, all the way from Brooklyn, New York. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
No, but good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, since you spoke up, I'm listening to you, right? The two parties, the SLP party was the Princess Michelle was the leader and the SLP. Right? Now, you wasting your time this morning on that guy, Michael Pilgrim. He don't do nothing for St. Lucia. He just get talking. Now, with King problem. King spent 5 years in office. Chancellor spent 5 years in office. Now, King seeing the 5 years Chancellor in office, Chancellor to war on King. Now there'll be jealousy. They want to stop the trade. That will develop St. Lucia. That's why all those that have no idea how to develop St. Lucia coming out. They're coming out to keep St. Lucia back. They don't want St. Lucia to go to the football. They don't want St. Lucia to win the marathon. They don't want St. Lucia to win nothing. They want St. Lucia to stay in the banana baseball, carrying banana on our head. That's what they want to think about. Okay? You're wasting your time describing people. Those people have nothing. Try to and that guy who's already. You know, you waste them, you know, let St. Lucia speak out. got that gun yet. No, I got that gun. When that gun comes to St. Lucia, nothing. Nothing is. 1979.
Okay, caller. You'll have to try to call back because the quality of your call there is not really good at all. Okay, you'll have to try to call back. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Mr. Williams, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real. Let's go.
Good morning, Mr. Williams. How are you?
Good morning. Let's go.
Let me ask you something. This is the oldest party in St. Lucia.
That's irrelevant right now. Let's go to the substantive issue. I don't have so much time for hide and seek. Let's make your point.
No, I'm not playing hide and seek.
I don't have time. Not today. 456-0931. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Talk to me.
Yes, I've been listening to your program. This is my first time calling.
Thank you very much for calling.
And I am a bit baffled because what I keep hearing is that King, that Stevenson King, it's been told by mostly everybody who is a supporter of his that the government has disrespected him and a number of other stuff, but I have not heard up to this moment any specific as to what really did it to him.
Same question I've asked.
Yeah, not only that, but what I know for sure is what the Labour Party has said about King, and I'm not hearing anything about that. So you are hearing what never happened, but what actually happened is being buried. So I'm a bit confused as to what is reality, what is truth, what is
Caller,
false, what is feeble.
I like the question you ask, and I will ask it to the people out there. Let's just keep it real. Forget who you support or not.
Yeah.
In all the disrespect that supposedly was unleashed against Stevenson King, in all the undermining that was supposedly done against him, in all that was supposedly done to Stevenson King, I have not heard up to this point one instance of what he said, to exemplify what the alligators that he's making. Not one instance.
Listen, if these guys happen to bring,
innuendo,
whoever to court, let's say Alan Chastanet,
that's a Yodi kind of thing, you know.
If you were to take him to court, what are they going to tell the judge?
I want to ask the people of St. Lucia this, because it's become a national discussion. Let's not get away from it. Name me one instance where Stevenson King was undermined. Give me the story behind it.
That's my
give me one instance where he was disrespected. Give me the story behind it.
But
I want one, just one.
Yeah, but it appears that there is none. So if there was any, that would have been brought to the fore. But if there is none, then all you do is to make allegations and hoping that people will hear and believe.
SLP tactics, Kool-Aid Squad, Kool-Aid Squad tactics.
These things are so feeble, and it's unfortunate that the people I'm hearing making these kind of remarks are people who have served this country in highest the highest order of our country. You've served, and this is what you've been reduced to at this moment. Allegations that cannot be proven. They don't want to prove, they cannot prove it, because I guarantee you, if it could have been proven, that would have been on all social
well said,
media,
caller.
all news,
Well said.
magazines, everything.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, sir.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Innuendo, that's what the word is. INNUENDO. Making alligators, you know what I mean, allegations, without being substantiated by fact or evidence. Good morning, you on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Norbert.
Morning, sir.
Good show.
Thank you very much.
Why, I so happy the way you dealt with that guy that's trying to play hide and seek. He's calling from New York. We all know who he is. And all of them coming out now to attack. Well, Norbert, this morning, about 6:23, I was attacked by a big SLP guy. Now, I know the guy very well.
So you mean he was big in size, or he was just a vehement supporter?
Well...
Or both?
Both. Now, Norbert, I'm going to come down on him because I know him very well. I used to go to the church in Plateau Babono, both the morning and in the evening time. The guy also preached on the altar, well respected. He passes by my house every time, morning, good night, I'd have no problem with that. On a sudden, the man just attacked me. Oh man, all of y'all have to go. You have to go because you all corrupt. I say, what are you talking about? You, all of y'all UW people. I said, just so you're attacking me? But Norbert, I know he's listening. And I'm going to send that clear message. The writing is on the wall. The young farmers see a vision in this government. And this government is working. And as a result of that, he's pissed off. Now, everybody know, and the young farmers and the farmers in Maki Estate know. On the Labour Party, those guys were getting all the favors. You know, plowing the land, the fertilizers, the little monies they used to give, the other ones benefiting, you know. But when Ezekiel came in, they still sent the tractor to plow. There was no color. No color. Ezekiel said, there's nothing like red. Just plow for everybody. But even when Ezekiel Joseph was doing that, all of them was still against the man. You understand? But let me tell him, the young farmers are not stupid. The young farmers are the new generation. Okay? The other one will be feeding the nation. So it's just a little pocket. But when it comes to the numbers in the youth, they will overpower them. Those guys have nothing to say about this government because the government is working. Not too far from where he's living, okay, by Lawi Chicken Back or how they call it. There's a new concrete road built there. Alvina Reynolds promised, and you know already the score, just like the hospital. It will open next week. It will open so and so. It never, under the leadership of Alan Shastney and proper representation by Ezekiel Joseph, delivered. You understand? And people in the area now understand the vision of the United Workers' Party and the vision of Alan Shastney, of a new St. Lucia. They see a transformation in all parts in Babono. It's there to see. So when those guys come in and they're attacking you and they're playing, you know, they believe in God, why don't he pray for that division between SLP and UWP? They are the ones that are creating that monster. You understand? And as I tell him, and he says, you're a devil. Because if you're a man of God and you're on a platform and you're talking to a man, he don't have no problem with you. You're looking at the man and you're telling the man, you corrupt and your government corrupt and you'll all have to go. I never, Norbert, I never, on any of the ministers, cannot point a finger and say, they give me this, they give me that. No, I could testify to that. And even though I support in this government, based on all the projects they have done, I will campaign to see that they re-elect. Because I am for country. I didn't go for handouts and favors for me to campaign. Because I see the government is working. And I'm calling on those young people to rally behind the government and give them another 5 years to complete the job. But those guys, they don't see it that way. They support labor, they will get the favors. You know, that's what it's all about. And even the Maki Estate, Ezekiel could testify to that. You know, when you bring in foreign investment, The guys came, they bought land, even from that same farmer, and he's not the only one. But something went wrong. After he got his money for the land, okay, hundreds of thousands of dollars, each of them, the farmers say. Then the thing went wrong, they got back their land. So you see, when they're trying to, trying to dismantle a man and stuff like that, it wasn't for the government at the time, the UWP government. They would not even have all what they have. So you see, those guys are for themselves, what they could get. Because at the time Labour was in power, everybody could tell you that. They are the ones that was getting the fertilizers. They are the ones that was getting the tractor to plow. They are the ones when government was giving little incentives. They are the ones that benefited. You understand? And that is the way. But Ezekiel, when he re-elect again, he never look at Labour or Flobo. Go and plow. I don't care. Just plow the land for the people. You understand? It's an agricultural area.
30 seconds, caller. 30 seconds.
Everybody know that. And let me tell that guy, Colin, you tackle the wrong person. I do not play politics with you. You have your side, I have my side. I'm in support of this government. They work and they deserve another 5 years. Thank you very much, Norbert.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. You know, I have some messages here. I continue to have so much confidence in the crew, in the keeping it real crew. And this message goes, "Hi Norbert. The unsubstantiated allegations by Steve reminds me of the Joachim Henry story that is still missing a chapter on what exactly Guy Joseph supposedly did to him or say to him to cause the church invasion at Forestier." Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah. I understand that Janice Thompson going to be on the circus show this morning.
I have no idea. I really don't care about that.
And you came, after your husband died, you and your daughter, she wanted the leadership of the UWP. She wanted the GG position for you, and so on. But where was your role as a first lady when your husband was there?
Well, caller, I'm really not concerned about that. I really don't care about that. Let's keep it to the issue at hand. That's neither here nor there in the whole big scheme of things right now. And I really not going to deal with, unless there's a substantive role of direct involvement. I really don't care about that.
Yeah, because all of them is coming to the defense of Stevenson.
Well, so let's just deal with the issues with those. So you see where wife is concerned, unless you expect that. So, however, where was him, if you want to say, if you want to ask,
right?
Where was he when she wanted to run? What part did he play in her demise? Was he the best supporter of hers? So, all of that is just sideshows.
Because a lot of us seem to forget that he himself supported Vaughan Lewis against Sir John.
Thanks for bringing that out, caller.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that out. And hold on. What's his name? The Preville guy.
Yes.
Did he support Stevenson King for leader of the party? Or was he trying to be leader himself?
There you go.
So now all of a sudden, so in essence, what he's saying, Steve was a much better leader, much better qualities than him.
Yes. But I remember in when Sir John walked in I don't remember if it was a zonal conference or if it was a convention, when Sir John walked in that time in Soufre, even Steve come and complain how he was disrespected by the way Sir John make an entrance into the audience. As if people forgetting that Midhas have that kind of behavior from a long time ago and it goes unnoticed. Anyway, have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. Or do certain people, somebody asks is asking, is the reason now why so many has-beens are crawling out of the woodwork to support King because they want a weak leader that they can control and manipulate? We have another call. Good morning. Okay, lost that one. Let's go to WhatsApp, all the way from Toronto, Canada. Good morning, you on the air. Oh, good morning. Okay, let's try that again. Good morning, you on the air. Let's keep it real. Toronto, Canada.
Let's keep Canada. You know your partner.
Yeah. Talk to me.
One king, two king, three king. Don't say the last one.
I certainly won't.
Don't say it.
I won't.
Huh?
I won't.
All right. Don't do it. When I listen to your guys there, he's a joker. What he doing? I heard the guy said about Marquis Estate and all them things there. Ezekiel Joseph, right? Are you hearing me?
I am. Go right ahead, caller.
Let me say something to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say something to you that's going to be big. King is a big joker because King is supposed to know. And King vexed Ezekiel and them and what is him? Guy Joseph, right? Because they give them Shasta giving them acting prime minister.
Steve has been acting prime minister on.
He do it one time, one or two times. He not giving to Gil. Gil is the deputy whatever, right?
Gil has been acting prime minister as well.
Yes, but he not giving it to them because what happened? They have the biggest work to do. They don't. What I'm saying to King, he don't understand. He's fighting Guy. What are you fighting the guy for? What Guy did to you? Are you laughing with this guy? Who is this guy? Boy, when I hear you talk this morning, I had to call. Because when I hear you spoke this morning,
yeah.
But you don't remember me. You don't remember me when we went to college together.
Apparently not.
Huh?
Apparently not.
No, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk to you like this. That I'm going to talk to you differently. But when you hear Guy, you can't fight it because and Simpson is so stupid. He is so stupid. You have a big ministry. You have the ministry with the most money, and you're acting so stupid. Tell me, how can you do that? They take out responsibilities. But I don't even know how people can do that.
30 seconds, caller. 30 seconds. I gave you 30 seconds.
I'm coming out from there.
Thank you very much. Thanks for keeping it real. I want to play something here for you. You've heard it before. I want to play it again. I'm going to play it again. Here we go.
Because Stevenson King, the United Workers' Party, they have lost 3 leaders. 3 leaders have left the United Workers' Party. Von Lewis, he left and he joined us. Morella Joseph left and she joined us. And now Stevenson King left and joined us. And I don't think many of you remember that. I'll tell you again. Von Lewis, former Prime Minister, left and he joined us. When he joined us, he said, the substance of government is on this side, our side. Morella Joseph, Dr. Morella Joseph, leader of the United Workers' Party, left them and joined us. Remember that? And now, Stevenson King, Pawe Flambeau, leave them and they join us.
Stevenson King, Pawe Flambeau, left and join us. Talking about coalition. That coalition was formed before elections. The plans, the plots, the conniving was there before. Yoteni plan you all along. They didn't have any plan to run any candidate in Castries Central. Yokite Uve, and you know how they refer to it? As strategic space. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hi, morning, Nobot.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Talk to me.
I'm hearing rumors that the UWP is paying people $200 to vote for them and so on. Is that really true, Nobot?
Caller, go out and say Kalte, but every election that same nonsense comes up. But you see, caller.
Yeah.
What a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. Today will be very revealing about this Peemun pour voter. Okay?
But
remember, I said so.
Well, yeah, listen to that. If Shasta is doing that, that's a shame of him, you know.
Caller.
That's a shame of him.
Caller, hold on a second. You calling with your plan there already. Goodbye. You say you hear rumors, and then you want to continue and perpetuate the conversation with if. Well, you can't prove it, but you want to say if. You can say that about anything else. That's all SLP tactics. If, what if, maybe, perhaps. I ain't giving air and life to that nonsense. You come with your facts, you come with your evidence, and let's conduct our analysis. Don't come and come with rumors you hear about and then use that as the foundation for further conversation and further speculation and want to do all of that. Don't try that here. That ain't going to work. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hi, good morning, Norbert.
Morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Norbert, all that talk about coalition, I always thought that a coalition had to be an alliance of parties. If an individual gets into parliament as an independent and he joins another party, he has not, there is no coalition. He has just crossed the floor.
That's right.
So there is that thing about coalition, that is a nonsense.
That's Papi Show.
And anyone who looks at the history of countries in the world who have had coalition governments,
they don't last.
These are always unstable governments and recipes for disaster. Most of them never go through the full term. Typically, places like Israel, and you look at Iraq and those places.
Yeah, in the Middle East, yeah.
So that thing about coalition, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But what I'd rather we have in St. Lucia is a government of national unity. And I think we have in this election a chance to have a government of national unity, not in the traditional form. Traditionally, it is when maybe you have two parties or more joined together for the good of the country where there is unrest and a lot of division. But we, on the 26th of July in St. Lucia, we have a chance to give ourselves a government of national unity where there is no opposition to walk into the house. 17-0. That is the government of national unity that I want. I don't want anything resembling a so-called coalition. Let us get out there on the 26th and unite this country where we have nobody else to walk into the House of Parliament, so they have to walk out. That is the government of national unity that we are going to have. One party, the United Workers' Party. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Folks, let me tell you something. 8:19 in the morning on the 22nd day of July 2021. 4 days to go. 4 days to go. 4 days. I have a call coming in on WhatsApp, via WhatsApp from the UK. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, that's correct, man. No, but sunny UK today. We've had sun for the last couple of days. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I go. Anyway, Norbert,
yeah.
Well done. I listen to your show all the time.
Thank you.
We're doing very well at the moment from what I could see on the media. Let me ask you.
Yeah, ask
if
me.
If If Tilgetia is talking about 3 leaders left and joined the UWP.
The SLP, the SLP, the SLP.
The SLP, sorry. From the UWP to the SLP.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, what was the deal with Mr. Von Lewis? What was the deal with Morella Joseph? And what is the outcome, the deal that is set in motion, that is being set in motion? Nupokowai, Nukaitamni, with Mr. King. I would love him to describe that, to explain that, to deliver that, to answer that. Yeah? And like I listened to a little bit of Emma had a meeting with the Sufa. My background is from Sufa, right? And one of the things, Dr. Alexis came out, we have to vote to a party that is going to be for the future of our people, our grandchildren, and our future children. And he delivered to Emma. And that is exactly what I expect from the people of Sufa, to vote for a party that is going to do for us in the future, not for anything else. Because I know Dr. Alexis is a shoes labor, okay? But when it comes to he's the only one that gave a very, very good speech on Emma's platform. I must admit, I am a UWP, but he's the only one that gave a very, very good speech. Now, but keep your good work going. Keep up the good work, and blessings to everybody. And by next week, I want to call you with a celebration speech. Okay?
Thank you very much, Mike. Have a great day, y'all. Okay.
No problem, no problem. Bless you.
Have a great day, mate. Thank you very much. Thanks for calling. Thanks for keeping it real. We have another call. Good morning. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Mr. Noble.
Morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Full of energy this morning.
Yeah, well, not like me, boy. This last night, Babano had a meeting, very good meeting in Gara, and also we had a meeting in Bogis.
Yeah.
In Bogis, yes. So it's been a long night for me. But, you know, I woke up this morning, Norbert, and I saw 2 videos. One of Dr. Mikey Pilgrim, you know, and
the tall fella.
Adrian Auger.
The tall fella.
Now, let me tell you, first of all, Mikey Pilgrim is a long-time family friend of mine. My mother and his mother were buddies. Not the kind of buddy we have now. They were close friends. And Mikey and his brothers are close friends of mine. We respect each other. But I'm kind of disappointed in listening to Mikey. And you know, when I listen to people, I listen to them well. I hear their speeches. I hear the words they use. He did a very nice presentation. Very well-defined.
Well-read.
Well-read. Well, it took time. It probably took 5 years for him to write that speech. It is well done. But if you listen to the speech carefully,
I did.
You will notice that he's actually condemning King when King was Prime Minister. He was annoyed. He was upset that King didn't take decisions. He was not in the party at the time, but he was vexed with King. And you know, and that tells you that there was some disappointment in King by all accounts, including the delegates. But then he's going to go on to talk about King would rather be an angel in heaven than a devil in hell, or devil on earth, or whatever the case may be. Yeah. The details are there. That's the words he used. Now, people must understand that when people...
No, he said he'd rather be an angel in heaven rather than a king in hell. That's what he said.
I have to make sure I have it done right when I'm playing it back on Saturday on my program, because you only one person. Mikey Pilgrim was interim Prime Minister. I think it's no longer than about 3 months.
3-4 months.
At the time, there was turmoil in the country.
Almost civil war.
Turmoil.
Almost civil war.
A civil war in the country.
Yeah.
and he was selected to be the only person that they would think to be prime minister at the time, and he is on record as being an interim prime minister.
He wasn't elected.
He himself didn't even qualify to be a long-time prime minister, full-time prime minister. He was given to hold a job for 3 months as prime minister. And that is going to be in the record of St. Lucia.
It is.
That Mikey Pilgrim is an interim prime minister. Now,
hold on, Mr. Ellis. Hold on a second there. That there was the need for an interim prime minister, someone they thought was as neutral, if you want to use that word, as possible.
That's right.
Because of a situation that came out of a deal that was made within the SLP to transfer leadership, prime ministership, after 6 months from Alan Louisi to George Odlum. And it was those guys in there who created some of the greatest turmoil in the history of St. Lucia.
So you see, a lot of people who will be in the politics today, a lot of younger people, wouldn't know the details of that. Well-respected gentleman, Dr. Mikey Pilgrim, my good friend, but he was only capable of holding a post for 3 months, or about 3 months. But as good as he may sound now, and as good as the record of the St. Lucia will show that he was a prime minister, he was only capable of holding the post for 3 months. He was not allowed to by the people who elected him to be interim prime minister. Look at what he is defending. A man who he claims that Sir John wanted to replace him. That's what he claims. But I have a different side of it, which I will tell you on my program on Saturday. But Stephenson King was an interim.
Yep.
He was an interim.
Yep. Very accurate. Very accurate.
He was only interim because he was not elected by the delegates, or he wasn't elected by the people of St. Lucia, or his party wasn't even... when he attempted to bring the party that he so was part of to the fold of the public, he failed in the elections. He failed in the elections. He lost. He lost the elections. So when people are coming out to defend this so-called calm, polite, very caring person, and all the qualities he gave Stephenson King, he failed among the members of his party. He failed by the voice of Mikey Pilgrim himself to do what Mikey Pilgrim would have loved him to do. He failed, and also he failed getting the leadership of the party, and subsequently lost the elections. So, you know, people must listen to these people who feel that they have education, they have DRs, they want to come out and give impressive speeches. And when you listen carefully and take those speeches apart, you see they're making boomerang statements. How can you say that when the very man you're trying to promote defended you yourself? He defended, he disappointed. He disappointed Mikey Pilgrim himself while he was Prime Minister. Listen to the speech as well, people. Listen to these people that are educated. They have more education than me. They have DRs before their names and so on. But I listen carefully and listen over and over again to find out that these people are just coming out of the cupboard. Some of them are close to the sugar. Some, of course, were close to the butter. Some of them might have been in the back in the cupboards. They can't get out yet. They're coming out one by one. The Adrian Rochers, the Claudius Previlles, all of them coming out now, out of the cupboard, because they see a little syrup at the end of the tunnel. Come on, gracious me, man. Mikey Pilgrim has disappointed me, my good friend, by coming out and trying to defend the man who has clearly disappointed a lot of the people who supported him. He didn't. Yesterday, a fellow almost cried in tongue to know that Mikey Stephenson King, a man he had worshipped, had done that to him. He's left a lot of his people confused. Don't only take the people that are close to him now, supporting him around his platform and wearing blue shirts. Take the number of people, take concern, Dr. Mikey Pilgrim, about the people that he has disappointed, the people that had supported the party and supported him. Let me tell you, I saw a video again this morning on Facebook of Stevenson King on a platform, it may have been last night or night before, talking about how he put lights in Mondidon and how he didn't get this and he didn't get that, and private sector people assisted him in putting lights. The private sector knew him, I think, possibly knew him as a UWP. They didn't know him as a Blue Party because a lot of people didn't know about the Blue Party till recently. So all the lights he may have found and he had put, all the things that they gave him from the private sector that he had to beg for, he begged as a parliamentarian under the UWP, including the people that gave him donations. The people around Sunny Acres where I live that drive around, and he drive around with his yellow flags. They supported him as a UWP.
But let me ask you a question there, caller. All the yellow flags and the UWP stuff that was put up in Castries North, who put them up? The UWP candidate from Beaufort?
Listen, I keep on saying, Norbert, that King has every right to leave a party and cross, because the same people that supporting him are vexed with Neville Stack over 30 years ago who left one side and went to the other side. You know.
But the point is that the big complaint, the argument, is that for 5 years he endured. My point is, why all the deception? Okay, you want to leave, you leave in whatever, you're not interested. You actually went to the point of getting funds, UWP funds. This is what really gets people and what they refer to in St. Lucia as twit. To put up UWP flags throughout the constituency.
That's right.
Deception.
That is right.
Dangereux.
You came and you put flags all around Castries North. And then within a day or two, you coming back and putting a blue flag and say you're independent. Listen, I have concluded that Stevenson King will talk to 5 people. The first will tell him yes. The second will tell him yes. The third will tell him yes. The fourth will tell him yes. When you get to the first person, the person will tell him no, he'll take no. That's the man that coming and talking about principles. That's the man that making sound as though he's better than everybody else in the party. There will always be somebody that have a problem with somebody. In any organization, any party, any group, any family, sisters and brothers fight sometimes.
Yep.
Sisters and brothers, husband and wives fight sometimes. But they have to value the relationship, the underlying basic relationship about family. So Stevenson King can only fool some of the people around him that depending for something from him, if he have something left.
But why?
I'll tell you more on my program.
Why would you think that he would not avail himself of the $2 million over 2 years that was available for work in his constituency
and he couldn't do anything for his party. If that is true, he should answer that.
To better the lives, to better the neighborhoods, to better his constituents.
So, Mikey Pilgrim, I really want to tell you, read that speech again, listen to it again, and see how disappointing you are as a statesman. I consider you a statesman, still walking the streets in the boulevard every day. And to do something to yourself that way, because you can use all the good words, you can use all the niceties. The bottom line is that people can read through that speech and realize what has happened to you. The fact is that you were only interim for 3 months. The same people you were with didn't even consider putting you up and letting you last 5 years.
But caller,
3 months as interim.
But caller, I want to go back again. because it's very important that we do not miss what was not said and the questions that come out. And I want to know why Mikey Pilgrim, when Stephenson King was vilified, was insulted by the St. Lucia Labour Party, why didn't he have such glowing words in defense of Stephenson King then? When they called him uneducated, when they called him a messenger, when they said that the only certificate he had was a birth certificate, that he was dumb, that he was stupid. Where was Mikey Pilgrim back then?
Where were these people? I remember people like Chazi.
Where was Adrian Auger? They didn't recognize the qualities he had. And at that time, Mikey Pilgrim had spoken to John Compton already. And only now when you coming out and say, well, this is the first time I'm coming out. Where was your conscience back then?
Yeah,
you had none.
These are the people that believe that they're influential. And they said nothing all the time Stephenson King was getting licks by the Labour Party. These are the same people
hypocrites
that had the ability to do Facebook reports
and they want people to take them.
People would respect them and say, listen, you all should not do that to Stephenson King.
And they want to be credible now? They want to be credible.
They themselves knew that Stephenson King were making fundamental mistakes as a prime minister, as somebody who Rufus Bousquet said should have only been a parliamentarian in Catherine North. That's all he's good for. And they never came out to defend him then.
And these fellas, man.
They never came out to defend him then.
But now he's investing.
The people listening, I want to tell all of these people that think they're educated and they're smart and they know the history. Say the history well. And stop trying to get cheap votes at this time. Because I will only use what they say against them. Everybody coming out, especially those people like Claudius Preville and Mikey Pilgrim, and you name it, may we pull it down to all of them. Boomerang statements. You got to, whatever they say can be used against they themselves. If you were disappointed in a man then, and his party, his delegates, which is the key fundamental people in a party that will determine whether you're leader or whether you're not, and you didn't come out and make a statement against that, keep your mouth shut and keep your respect. People like Mikey, what little respect you have, keep it to yourself. Mikey Pilgrim is my friend. He will always be my friend, but I have to say this in all honesty, because if I'm a friend, I'm supposed to tell you what I don't like about you. And you didn't do it to Stephenson King. Don't come at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Folks, at the end of the day, the alarm that people see in this so-called coalition kind of talk that's coming out there, the fluff and bluff that we saw, that was the worst kept secret in St. Lucia, according to Prime Minister Alan Chastanet. What we see here, what we have here, are two leaders. That's what it boils down to. That's what it boils down to. The UWP and the SLP, Philippe Japed and Alan Chastanet. In the worst of times, we saw the performance of this government. We've seen the performance of this government since 2016. We've seen what they've done, what they've inherited. And we also saw the performance of the SLP 2011 to 2016. We know exactly what happened. Forget the politics, forget the emotion, forget the I like this one. Performance matters. And let's go by hard, cold facts, the numbers. Where do you see the progress happening in St. Lucia? Where do you see the vision? Where do you see the performance? Where do you see the reduction in unemployment? Where do you see the ability to borrow? Where do you see the roads being fixed? Where do you see the schools being fixed? Where do you see the reduction in VAT? Where do you see the reduction in registration fees for vehicles? Where do you see the increase in the school feeding program? Where do you see the increase in the subsidy for school transportation? And tell me where you saw Jufali. Tell me where you saw the Vroom Vroom Range Rover issues. Tell me where you saw Rochamel. Tell me where you saw a country in depression, negative growth in the economy. Tell me where you saw civil servants being paid every month in the middle of COVID when the government had significantly reduced revenues. Tell me where you saw our debt being paid. Tell me. Tell me where you saw the airport coming on stream. Tell me where you saw St. Jude's being transformed. That's right. From the disaster that was being built. With every month, every year, a promise and a promise and a promise. Tell me where you see consistency, where you see confidence of foreign governments in this government of Alan Shastney. Tell me. Tell me. The numbers, the facts, the figures, the evidence are all there. Forget the propaganda, forget the lies, forget the half-truths, forget the nonsense on social media, forget the distraction, forget the fluff and bluff of the SLP. Those are not facts. Propaganda is not investment. Lies are not jobs. Think about Ojo Labs, think about ITEL BPO. Think about people in St. Lucia getting back to work in COVID times. And think about the Prime Minister, Alan Shastney, making the statement long ago that we have to learn to live with COVID, just as we've learned to live with everything else. And you know what? Everybody else is following suit. Talk to the people who are going back to work today. Talk to those who are going back to work at the hotels. Talk to the people of Viewfort. Take a drive down there, dang nammit. Take a drive. And see what's happening. A land, which is what I call Viewfort, a land, it was like a different place. Where businesses were closing left, right, and center, where the place looked like a ghost town. The only thing you didn't see there was tumbleweed. Where dogs got visas before St. Lucians to go to Canada. You forget that? Where the joke was that people would let their dogs go to Canada so they could file for them a few years after staying over there. The South has been already, even in this one term, transformed. And what Stephenson King needs to remember, and everybody else, is that he had an opportunity to win the elections, and he did not. He could not do it. And let us also remember that Prime Minister Alan Shastney, leader of the UWP, got the opportunity to run as the leader, and he won first try. Let us remember all the reports and the evaluations by international agency raining praise down on St. Lucia because of the leadership of Alan Shastney, but they don't want to talk about that. And remember very well the so-called journalists here, all over, who every single story they can manipulate and skew against the government they did. And if Alan Shastney walked on water today, they would have some excuse to make, some criticism to make about it. Well, you're walking on water, but you're not barefooted. And examining the dismal failure of the SLP in the best of times, one can only imagine, I cringe at the thought, one can only imagine the colossal failure, the colossal, what can I say, disaster that we would have been in if those failures had been at the helm of governance in this country during COVID, during this time. We have a call. Good morning. You're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yes, good morning, Robert.
Morning, sir. Talk to me.
Robert, you're the best person to ask that question. I was watching a program on a television earlier this week, and I saw a young man who claims to be the Prime Minister attaché. When I know that you are one of those people, a young man about 23 years old, throwing the Prime Minister under the bus with his wife, saying all kinds of things about the Prime Minister. saying how the Prime Minister is paying people to vote for him. All kinds of nonsense. So I didn't intend to call this morning.
Caller, let me just respond to that. Every year, every election season, we get these baseless accusations. It's become a part of the elections period landscape, where people make these alligators, and very often disgruntled people, very often people from the other side, the Kool-Aid squad, and as usual, unsubstantiated. I'm not even going to waste too much time discussing such nonsense, but if people want to talk about paying for votes, we will hear about paying for votes today. Okay?
I agree with you, but
we will hear about it today.
Yeah, there's something else I want to say. That fella, George Floyd. George Floyd shook the world. George Floyd shook the world after he was killed, so they say, under the hands of the police in America. And right now, the world take a stand that discrimination about racism and thing, that it's time to stop. And after I heard on that same program, a lady called, and the lady was saying how she and her husband have a young lady going to vote. And she said that if Alan Shastri have a chance, he going to fire all the black people in his cabinet and replace them with white people.
Well, that's the most dumb, ridiculous
my God,
nonsense.
I was so annoyed.
Where did you hear that?
This week.
Where?
On UTV.
Who said that?
A lady, but it was on that girl program. that girl program.
Caller, that's so ridiculous and silly. It doesn't even worth.
I was so annoyed when I heard the lady say that if Alan Shastri have the chance, he's going to fire all the black people in his cabinet and replace them with white people. I was disturbed when I heard a lady.
Caller, let me tell you something. If anybody calls here and says that, or says that, anything along those lines, they will not finish their call.
The lady stayed there
entertaining it, allowing it to be aired, yes.
Not saying anything, not saying, okay, lady, I don't think that's the way to go. Nothing.
Because it suits their agenda, caller. It suits their agenda. I will never permit anything like that to be said against either side. Irresponsible. Irresponsible.
She never said nothing. She just sit down there and swallow all of that. And I noticed she get calm and she get really
But that's the
calm.
tactic. You know, that's the tactic, caller.
I believe she has seen the handwriting on the wall. She get very calm, very calm. Anyway, that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. 4560931. We have a call coming in via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Norbert.
Morning. How are you doing? Talk to me. Caller. Okay. You have to call back, caller. Masaf Kisal Kalti by Unila. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Norbert. How are you
Talk
this
to
morning?
me. I'm doing good.
All right, Norbert, we must understand all these guys who are coming out of the woodwork. It's an ego they have, and they realize, Norbert, this time around, when the United Workers' Party get back into power, they will be in the wilderness for a long time.
Yep.
So they will not be able to feed their ego. All of them are guys looking for favor, and they have come together to fight one individual. It's not about United Workers' Party. It's about Alan. You tell me you were a government that first introduced CIP in this country, and you guys are playing the race card, and nobody in the hierarchy of the Labour Party is saying that's not the way to go. Alan is not a white man. Alan is a St. Lucian, whether he white or black.
Exactly.
We should not be playing this thing. This is a game we are playing in this country. So all these so-called intellects you see coming out now, because they realize giving the Flabo a chance to win this election, they will be out for a long time. Labour Party may have given them bogus poll and say, boy, that's our chance. And we need to do what we have to do. But that is deceptive. Believe me, you, in 2016, Labour Party lost the election by, we got 11, they got 6. Dr. Kenny Anthony would have been Prime Minister. He won by a slim margin. He won by a slim margin. If these guys had any brains, they would have started thinking that.
Yep.
Philippe JPL won by a slim margin. Sean won by a slim margin.
Ernest
Hiller won by a slim margin. Musa won by the lowest margin somebody has ever won in Beaufort North. Alva margin came down. You think you sit on your laurels for 5 years with all this over you, you will be able to increase? If these guys were smart, St. Lucians, if these guys were smart, they would not have done that. But they think they can come out. If we come out in numbers, they will have sympathy for us. They will say what we are saying is true. And they tell you, when you say something for a long time, people be starting to believe. But the truth is the truth. If Guy Joseph has said so much and you all can't come out and you all say so much, St. Lucian, think about it. But they are stupid. They all will reach the east, 70 and Alan will be there. So they know now it is over. 5 days, 4 days to go, 5 days to go, it is over. Your reign is over. You're not hearing the Labour Party candidates this day. You're not hearing them. It's those coming out of the woodwork.
Carker Glow.
Yeah, they are coming and talk rah, rah, rah. The time is near.
They circling.
St. Lucians, don't allow intimidation. Don't allow this marriage of convenience. These were the days when Norbert father and the grandfather would meet and say, I want you to marry my daughter. We have to show face. And sometimes these people in the house for a whole year and there's not a human conversation. Do not allow that to happen. That is deceptive. That is wanting to take power
by deception.
Necessary. They said it, and now I'm saying it. If you look, Norbert, look on Facebook, go back 2 years, you would see the Labour Party star has a little blue code in it. The Labour Party star is infused with blue. And we didn't pick it up, but they knew what they knew. Go back as far as you can go and look at the Labour Party star in advertisement. It has the little blue in it. This is your homework I give you. Thank you, Norbert. But
thank you very much.
They have to wait for the next 15 years.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
36 is when they can re-emerge. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Folks, I want to talk about something. I want to talk about Richard Frederick there for a bit, and I want to talk about numbers. Où est tout les moun ka parle bravado, ka parle bêtise? Yo question bagay. Because when you don't understand what you're in, and I've said so, I've observed, I've laughed at the nonsense. À présent, Jordi Jou, he's alluding to, they're trying to steal the elections, Papi. So you know why they're saying that now? Him and all the others in the Kool-Aid squad. And now, I mean, yesterday I heard some nonsense from Stephenson King again. I mean, Steve, come on. Yeah, I mean, we understand the politics. Me uka pale betis too, sav, about Cambridge Analytica. And then he goes on to say, bon, yes, COVID you are missing. I want you to hear this, folks. Oh, Cambridge Analytica is here, and this other side say Russians here, and this one there, Tale ukaitan Greek is here, Tale ukaitan Saudi Arabian is here, tut betis. Because the time is coming and there's little time to respond to those things now because everybody is in a final countdown mode. So you can lodge tout vieux bêtises en cervelle Saint-Lucien because they believe the people of St. Lucia are dumb. But there's a keeping it real. And Stephenson King Kadi, Lani Cambridge Analytica is here. This is the company that goes to small countries and tries to steal elections. Are you listening to yourself, man? You really know what Cambridge Analytica is? All the nonsense that's being pushed out there, folks. A bunch of nonsense about... Go and read about Cambridge Analytica. Cambridge Analytica is an analysis company. And they're only influential because of computers, that you can analyze information, what is referred to as demographics. What Cambridge Analytica does, or did, is being done every day. Let me give you a little class right now. Is being done every day on practically every website you go to. You ever go to Facebook or go to Amazon or go to any other site, whether you go to eBay, whether you go to Amazon, whether you go to Macy's or whatever site, and then you go to Amazon the next day, to Facebook the next day, or later that day, or a week later, or 15 minutes later, and say, hey, but I just look at those shoes there on Amazon, and look, I seen an ad for it on Facebook. How do you think that happens? Why do you think that so many companies have cross-website interactions? That when you go to a particular website, you say, do you want to log in or do you want Facebook, your Facebook profile to be twinned or tied to this website or whatever? Because they're tracking you. And tracking is not necessarily bad. It can be a good thing. Because you go to Amazon or you go to eBay or whatever site and you search for baby diapers. And you go to another one and you search for baby powder. All different websites. You go to another one and you search for babysitter. You go to another one and you search for maternity dress or whatever. If you have that information, I think it would be safe to say that somebody is pregnant. Don't you think so? That's what the websites do. They collate all that information and the AI, the artificial intelligence, the thinking of the computer. It calculates, well, how do you think you get a playlist auto-generated online? How do you think you get suggestions on YouTube? You say, wow, but how does it know that I like this or whatever? Because it examines, it evaluates it, runs through the algorithm. An algorithm is simply a manner of interpreting information. So you get a video, or you have Netflix, and Netflix makes recommendations. You think the recommendation is just somebody sitting there out of the blue and say, okay, you like that movie? Based on the movies that you've watched. All Cambridge Analytica does, and other companies similar to Cambridge Analytica, is examine data. And I bring that all the way back to Richard Frederick. Because if you don't know, you don't know, but I'll school you today. Because that's my area of expertise. That's my area of expertise. Okay, you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait, man. You're gonna have to wait. By security on easy eye. And he's alluding to now, they get ready to steal the elections. Who the government going to steal? Anybody is going to steal elections from? Who owns it? Somebody owns it? Does somebody own it? Does Richard Frederick own it? Does Alan Chastanet own it? Does Philip J. Pierre own it? Does Stephenson King own it? Nobody owns elections. So who are you going to steal it from? It's the people who go out to vote. But you see, I thought all of these people were so confident, and that's where I get into the demographics. Because even if you have numbers, if you don't have a way of understanding the numbers, then they're just numbers, doesn't mean anything to you. Because you know why? Because so many people have been saying, Oh, I'm on air. I'm online for only 5 minutes now, and look how many viewers I have. Numbers of viewers don't mean jack shh, don't mean nothing. Oh, I have 2,000, 3,000 live viewers now, 4,000, whatever. Viewers don't translate automatically into votes. Number one, how many UWPs KMA room cause what you buy show? They like the Enquirer magazine. They like it. That's human nature, people. How many of them are there? How many people who don't even live in your constituency, who can't vote for you, are on there? How many people are outside of St. Lucia in the diaspora who ain't coming to vote anyway? So Leuka Pale about all of those numbers. That don't mean jack. You don't say, how many people watching on cable TV? You don't know? You want to laugh and, oh, I come on in 5 minutes and I have more viewers than they have all night. So what? You see, one of the things you have to realize is that there are a number of different mediums through which you can watch. And the shows that you think don't have the same numbers as you do on social media or Facebook. What are the numbers on cable TV? What are the numbers over the air? How many people are watching that TV at the same time? And so what if you have 10,000 simultaneous viewers watching your show? What does that mean? That joker they have up there in New York and another one in Canada, right? They have thousands of people watching when they're on with all their raw stuff. Does that mean anybody in St. Lucia going to vote for them to, to be prime minister or to be a minister of government? People like showmanship. There are lots of people who will go watch Steve Harvey. Thousands. They'll fill up a stadium. But they ain't going to vote for him to be prime minister or minister of government, parliamentary representative. You think if these people who sell out stadiums, Wembley Stadium or Madison Square Garden, if they thought that would translate that they won't get into politics to get into the Senate or to vie for president of the US? And how many of them have tried that? So just looking at the numbers don't mean jack. That's why you're running scared now. Because all of them see the writing on the wall, but they want to make you believe that something, pull in an old Trump. Because they see the writing on the wall and they realize that the people of St. Lucia have an overwhelming majority of confidence in Alan Chastney and the United Workers' Party. That's what they're seeing. They're feeling it in St. Lucia and they're running scared. So that's why all the talk about stealing elections, they cause otla. Sore losers. And I encourage all St. Lucians to go out to vote. All St. Lucians to go out to vote on Monday. Make that line long. Make it long. And somebody called me yesterday. And I'm telling you all, don't make me call the name. A company at Bois d'Orange that employs a lot of girls and young ladies. Tell me that the boss say, boss, I'm telling you, if you all want to try and pull that in St. Lucia, try and pull it. The boss of the store that employs a lot of young ladies at Bois d'Orange want to tell them that they only have 2 hours to vote. And that if they vote, or if they take the time, they have to come back and show them their finger to prove that they went to vote. Papi show. Papi show. Right? Papi show. Nobody has to come and prove to you, any boss, anywhere, that they vote. None. And you're not limited to 2 hours or whatever it is. Whatever time it takes for you to vote. And they cannot take out from your sick leave, your sick days, They cannot take out from your vacation days. They cannot take out from your low leave. They cannot dock your pay. They cannot reduce your pay. They cannot make any deductions off your salary. Nada. And that company at Bois d'Orange, I spoke to some of the girls yesterday with the nonsense you're talking about. You better forget it. And I'm talking to all employees in St. Lucia that no boss can give you a limit on the amount of time that you can go to vote. It is your constitutional right, and the law says that you will be given the time it takes to go and vote. Nobody can stop that. And I am warning you all out there, those of you who think that you could try to influence people. And some of them are intimidated. Well, my job, or this, me, this, that, that. Don't try it. Don't try it. Because I'll keep it real on you all. Hard. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Hey.
You're on the air.
No, but, yeah, morning.
Morning.
That's right. Encourage them to go and vote.
Talk to me, caller.
No, I'm just saying, continue to encourage them to go and vote.
Yes.
Let them know that they're right, the constitutional right.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller. You want to say something else?
Yeah. No, but why you think Stephen King would say that Cambridge Analytica...
You should ask him. You should ask him that. You should ask him that. Why I think? Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me, you brought me back to my discussion on that a while ago. I mean, this is... I
have to bring you back in line or what?
This is... I mean, when people don't think and they want to say things which leads you to believe that they're fabricating stuff. Stephen King was in government as Prime Minister at the 2011 elections. He was Prime Minister from 2007 to 2011.
Robert, let me just say what I wanted to say.
Yeah, say what you wanted to say.
I am saying to you that the reason why Stephen King would say that Cambridge Analytica is on the island is because he has information. He was on the...
Caller, are you that naive? Caller, you that naive? You don't sound like that. Are you that naive, or are you playing British?
How you mean that naive? Stephen King came from the belly of the beast, and he knew exactly what transpired in the last general election. So he would have been well informed.
Caller, what are you talking about?
How you mean what I'm talking about? I mean, come on, man, Robert.
Caller, your analysis is weak. Next. Let me tell you something. You know, keep it real. You go with logical thought. I ain't going to go back and forth with wild speculation that is not substantiated by any logical or sensible deduction. Stephen King said that Cambridge Analytica is here in St. Lucia. And I say to that, if they were, so what? And then I'll go on to say that he's saying it in a negative sense, as if something's bad. Okay? He's saying it to indict the government for being associated with Cambridge Analytica. Okay? Let's just go by a face value of what he said. But then he goes on further after those aspersions against this current government. He goes on further then now to say, but I know they were here in 2011. I'm saying, but you were the Prime Minister in 2011. What are you saying? That you're indicting your own self now? I mean, that's how ridiculous it is that when you make these statements, you don't even realize that when you say it, you're indicting yourself. I'm like, it makes no sense. I listened more than once. I say, this guy must be losing it. You want to indict the government in one sentence, because that's what the statement is meant to do, and then the next, immediately afterwards, you're indicting yourself because you were the prime minister at the time of the date you gave, 2011. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
Morning, sir.
No, but that caller is a joker. That same call, I remember Guy Joseph had a show, and he wanted to pick on Guy Joseph. So, you see this guy.
Keep speaking, caller. I just got to run to let somebody.
A vote for King is a vote for Labour. A vote for King is a vote for Richard Fedrick. He's Labour. Now King is the only candidate in Cassis North. He's trying now to see if he could spin. But let me tell that bus driver, go back here. The writing is on the wall. The United Workers' Party will be victorious at the next general election. Guy Joseph was on a show with Champagne every Monday night, and you try to take on the man. Keep praying, keep helping people in the church that you claim you are pastor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Still waiting for the man, Champagne, to come over. He is going to be here for live in studio. Champagne in the morning. Haven't heard him yet. He hasn't woken up yet. I don't know what's going on. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. You listen to your telephone. Please turn on your radio.
Listen to me. I have a lot of respect for Alan Shasley. I look at how dignified Alan Shasley is. He does not respond to all the nonsense that's going around. He keeps focused. And this man is
Go ahead, caller. You have to listen to the telephone, caller. Don't listen to the radio. Please turn down your radio.
Yeah. Yes, I was saying that Okay. All right. I am looking at I'm observing Alan Shasley that all the nonsense that is being said about him or is being said that he remains focused. He's dignified and he's classy. The man doesn't respond to the nonsense. He just stays focused, and I have so much admiration for Shasley, the way he handles these things. We should have respect for this man, and he has a right to go back into power.
Caller, the record speaks for itself. Where St. Lucia was in the best of times and where it is now in the worst of times is testimony enough to the ability of this government, to the forward thinking of Alan Shasley, to the vision of this government, the credibility and reputation of being able to deliver on the promises made to the people of St. Lucia are testimony enough to the capability, the ability, and the hard work of this government. No doubt.
Well, I have a lot of respect for that. And I heard a statement a while ago about when he gets into office, he'll fire all the black people. Can Shasley hire enough white people to work and get rid of... You see
Caller, I ain't even going to entertain such stupidity. That's nonsense.
Yeah, can he hire enough? So America should fire all the black people that work under the white government there? Is that so many St. Lucians are working, so many black people? What are they going to do? Fire all the black people, and can they employ enough white people to replace these people?
Caller, this is absolute nonsense. I ain't even going to entertain that.
No, but I'm saying the amount of ignorance I hear going on in St. Lucia, you wonder if these people ever went to school. When you listen to the statements that the things that they say. Okay, Norbert, you have a good day.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you. Have a great day. Thanks for keeping it real. You have another call here via WhatsApp. Good morning, you on the air. Let's keep it real. Please turn down your radio. Please turn down your radio. Okay, caller, you gotta turn down your radio when you call. You have another caller Let's hope it's better this time. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning.
You're on the air.
Good morning. Norbert?
Go ahead, you're on the air. Okay.
Okay. That scenario with Stevenson King. Stevenson King is just getting on like in a firm or like 15, or you're the longest serving member, right? And you're not getting a position, you're not going to keep on bringing people on top of you because your performance is not up to par to lead. Get that person to put in a leadership position, and that person is performing.
Well, you got to try to call on the regular line. Every time you call via WhatsApp, that does not work out well at all. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Norbert, and how are you?
Doing good, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm great.
Talk to me.
Norbert, let me one thing to say. I'm voting in Central Castries. And when I look at Richard Frederick, I'm a strong SLP. But to tell you the truth, I will not give it to him. I will not give it to him. I will give it to Sarah. Because he has too many skeletons in his closet. Okay, Norbert?
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for this day, for him to get out. Get out. I don't want to see his face.
Thank you very much, caller.
You're welcome.
Thank you for keeping it real. 4560931. The man Champagne walked into the studio. He had on his glasses and he put his shades over the glasses, and he's laughing at himself.
That is the amount of pressure I'm under with you guys. Good morning, St. Lucia.
Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, Norbert.
Oh, good morning.
Yes, I was listening from morning. You know, I had two callers try to beat around the bush and see how just people. I don't want to go into it, but I tell you how, you know, you get votes by good governance and job creation. And that is exactly what's going on in Beaufort. That's why he's getting votes. So the nonsense about pay, so let them kind of, it makes no sense. Good governance.
Okay.
And the SLP spent 5 years directing all the energy towards one man, trying to make the public hate a man instead of bringing things to the table, what you're going to do for the country. What you expect to happen now? Not more propaganda, more saying about civil elections and nonsense. They were focusing on something. Anyway, have a great day.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. We have another call via WhatsApp coming in here. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real. Good morning.
Hello.
You're on the air. Let's keep it real. Good morning.
I want to talk about Aaron Shastney and Kenyan. If the people are saying that Aaron Shastney is white, what about Kenyan Tony? Morning.
Yeah, say that again, caller. Caller, please turn down your radio. You need to listen to the telephone. You're listening to the radio. Folks, when you call, you have to turn down your radio. There's a delay. We cannot have a conversation like that.
Yes, say that again.
Okay, all right. You're going to have to go with that. Sorry. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Good morning, Mr. Nabot.
Morning.
Mr. Nabot, Amagalula. What dernier madame na ki pale la, se pale yon lot la ki pale la ki yawe, maka ba yawe med. Because si madame sa ma really emetan ni pale. Maka di point yon shot filay l'homme avec tiet curry et mette tiet avec boy. Si madame sa mo just make no just.
So this hold on. This encore?
Yon shot filay l'homme et puis tiet curry. Et mettez just tiède avec boy.
Pour qui ça? Ça, qui c'est à ça? Okay. All right. Okay, thank you very much, caller. 4560931. Champagne looks like, okay, we have another call. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Bonjour, Nabat.
Caller, please turn down your radio.
The Labour Party has just shown how weak they are for turning to Stephen King and Richard Frederick to try and win an election. And by this now, their own supporters supposed to make them pay for imposing those same people that are rejects. The Labour Party supporters are supposed to make the Labour Party pay for imposing Richard Frederick and Stephen King onto them.
So let me throw something to you.
Just proven to the nation how weak they are.
So when you say you're leaving strategic space in Central Castries, the only other candidate there is Richard Frederick and Sarah Flood Bowbray. You only taking Sarah Flood Bowbray. So what are you leaving the strategic space for, or who? Yeah. And so then the question is that the candidates that they had, for example, the people who were interested, the cricketer guy, what's his name, Champagne? Julian Charles, and Stanley Felix. Are you saying then that there was not enough strategy to leave space for those people to run for you all?
You cannot do that to your own supporters. How you could deny your own supporters an opportunity to put a candidate in there, and you put in the same people that you have said all manner of evil against them, and now you're putting them back onto the people, you're imposing them onto your own supporters. So the SLP have shown how weak they are, that they cannot take on the mic of the UWP. That is why they're doing this. So they have just shown to the nation of St. Lucia and their own supporters that they're incompetent and incapable of doing the job. So it has just shown how weak they are, that they will go to that level and impose some people, the same people that you rejected, you're imposing them onto your people. Right. So that is what I call to say.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for keeping it real. Yesterday morning, the candidate, the new UWP candidate for Castries North, was in the studio, and she fielded a few questions from callers, and she has hit the ground running. And the people of Castries North will feel the full effect of Janine Girodi tonight, where she will be officially launched at her campaign headquarters. 8 o'clock tonight, Janine Girodi will speak to the people of Castries North. And on Sunday just past, she was there. She was around the constituency. And every day since her, what shall I say, nomination and being chosen as the candidate for Castries North, she has been on the ground. But the thing that really has caught my attention, folks, is the number of young people that are involved in her campaign. The number of young people of Castries North who are excited about Janine Girodi. The number of people in Castries North who are excited, who are thrilled, and feel, how do I put this, no longer abandoned because of Janine Girodi now being in the race to represent them. And that says a lot about how she has been able to hit the ground running and to gain the confidence of the people of Castries North. And I encourage all of you to come out, and even if you don't, in the area there by the Leclerc Field where her office is, sit on your balconies up on top of York Hill and everywhere else, and you know in the night the sound travels way all over. You can actually hear it in Entrepot and on the Mon. It's amazing how sound travels at night. And somebody was telling me they were at Entrepot 2 nights ago on Tuesday night, and they could hear a political meeting way around the other side in Mondudon. So you can sit on your balconies or open your window, lay on your bed, and listen to Janine Girodi tonight. Of course, the elections are on Monday, the 26th, 4 days to go 4 days to go. And it is your civic responsibility to inform yourself. And I think it's clear to say there's none other for the job right now than Alan Shastney and the United Workers' Party. I have absolutely no qualms about saying that. This government has performed. This government has delivered. And how you judge is based on past experience, past performance. And the past performance for this government, from the get-go, was the fight to stay alive. Ain't that true, Champagne?
Every day.
That's right. Every day.
Now it's
every
5
day.
for 5.
Now it's 5 for 5. And the United Workers' Party has put out its manifesto. And in just a few minutes, when I'm out of here, I will put the UWP manifesto on the Sky FM Facebook page and also the Keeping It Real Facebook page. If you have not gotten it yet, it's in PDF format. There's also a physical copy that you can get. But if you don't want to wait for that from your parliamentary representative or, well, the candidate, I'll put it up. It's very interesting, very revealing on the government's plans to continue what it has started, national health insurance. Folks, let me tell you something. I don't care about everything else. I think, in my opinion, that the most exciting part of the UWP manifesto for these elections is national health insurance. And the government has stated clearly and has been in discussion for years with, well, I can say, insurance companies and other stakeholders on establishing national health insurance for the people of St. Lucia. And the government has said that the coverage will be, on a yearly basis, $75,000. Can you imagine what that will do for the people who can't afford basic health care now? That the government will pay for the unemployed, for the elderly, and other vulnerable persons. I think that is fantastic. I think it's phenomenal. And some people want to criticize and say, oh, you think it takes that long? There are other countries. So what? There are other countries who St. Lucia has surpassed in what it's done with COVID, in handling the situation. This government with Alan Shastney went to the World Bank, and they couldn't believe that it would be done with the reduction in VAT, but it was done. And when you have a government that is dedicated to working for the people of St. Lucia, have the vision of Alan Shastney, have the resolve to create the environment that will enhance our economic development, that will enhance St. Lucia's viability in this competitive world. No change required. Hashtag on that. No change required. Because this government has proven by its performance that it is capable of dealing with the issues of state, that it is capable of dealing with taking St. Lucia to the next level, building a new St. Lucia, not making it better, not the same old government, same old movement. For you to make that change, you must do things differently. And apparently some people could not handle that change, could not handle doing things differently, because it was so entrenched in them how to continue just going through the motions over and over and over again, as they had been accustomed to doing for years and years and years and decades. That any change now is like somebody having a typewriter and not wanting to move to a computer. What I need that for? But you know, all people come up and talk about, you know, wanting to do things, about ça pas flambeau. Nonsense. What's flambeau? What you want it to be? What you want it to remain? Or does flambeau have to keep moving on? So tonight, Janine Girodi will address directly the people of Castries North. And of course, Prime Minister Alan Shastney will be there, and other UWP candidates. I will be there. Champagne will be there.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And what you have to consider, folks, is the leadership and the performance. That's what you have to consider. All the fluff and bluff, all the noise, the propaganda, the lies, the fake news, the social media, hackalacks, the hatriots, and all of them with their concerted effort over the years to undermine, to impede, and to sully the name of St. Lucia. They've all not worked. You have all the plans, but all you have is a 36-page manifesto compared to the United Workers' Party 60-page manifesto. The detail, the attention to the people's needs is the discerning factor in all of this. Champagne is here. It's 9:31. We're going to take one more call, Champagne, and that'll be it. Good morning, you're on the air. Let's keep it real.
Yes, hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, this morning. Will the meeting be aired on Sky FM tonight?
The meeting should be aired on Sky FM. It will be on GVD TV for sure.
Okay. All right. Thank
Okay?
you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Well, that's it, folks. Another morning, another day, another morning edition of Keeping It Real. Thank you so much for joining me once again. You know what that theme song means. We've come to the end. Deep overtime today, Champagne. I want to thank you once again, all those of you listening, tuning in, watching on TV, watching on Facebook, on the internet, wherever you are around the world. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm very pleased to have you every day, while we keep it real.
Hello, welcome to the program Something in the Morning with yours truly.